Everyone, hope you can hear me and you can see me. It's seems we are live. Let me also check my Twitch. Yes. And hello everyone. Hello morning. Lovely wife. How are you? Dear friends, today we have first and second rounds of Japan Chess Championship 2026. Yes, here you can see the 27th uh, Argentina Cup, which means if we go here to the official website, we see that yes, prize offer from the Embassy of Argentina. And we are going to have 6 uh, live boards. We can follow the games, we can check, we can analyze. And they already played first round. It was very early morning in Armenia, Yerevan, maybe even 5:30 a.m. morning. So it was not convenient to stream for me. Now it's almost 11 a.m. Yerevan time, and we are ready to start analyzing. And what? Let's also check. Maybe we do have. We go to. Yes, we need to. Should be. Mm-hmm. So we have Tran, 2 international master, and his rating is 2402. Then we have Otsuka 2322, FIDE master. Then we have Kojima, Shinya Kojima 2307. Then we have Nanjo 2301. And then we have Nakahara Kan 2244. And then we have Yamada, Kohei Yamada 2182. And 2 CM, Kabayashi 2130, and Alex Averbuch. Yes, I know Alex, and I know Tran. I played Kojima. I played Yamada. Thank you, thank you. And let's see. Oh. So Tran won with the white pieces. Otsuka won with the black, and then Kojima won. Nanjo as well. Nakahara won. Yamada won. And then we have Kobayashi. Alex Averbuch, he also won his first game. Then we have draw between Higashino and Togawa. And then again, Moritani, higher rated player won. And then we have Maciej. He won. We have Yonemitsu Kohei. He won. Mhm. How many players overall? More than 60, right? 67. 67 players, participants. Okay, let's start with first round. So Turan is playing 2402 against 1874. T4, D5, C3. Possible move with the idea to go bishop f4 and then e3, bishop d3, knight bd2, or maybe bishop e2, e6. I think c5, bishop f5, c6 are also possible moves, as well as e6, bishop f4, c5, and now this, knight h5, this is well known, bishop e3, bishop d6, knight e5, another move is to go g6 here, f4, queen b6, black is having ideas to take knight e5, and f takes c, bishop takes c5. For example, if you play something like rook b1, I can take, d takes c ideas aren't working, f takes c, bishop takes c5, d takes c, queen e3 comes. Yes. So queen b3 is the strongest continuation, and another move is to go a4, because now if knight e5, f takes c, bishop e5, then white is having this a4, a5 move, and black needs to move the queen away from b6, and then d takes e will be following. So here, after a4, queen b2 move is possible, as much as I remember. Yes, queen b2, rook c1, queen goes b6 back, and white continues bishop d3, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, queen b3, and here the best move, of course, to go knight g8. This should be the idea. Knight goes to g8, and then knight comes to e7, and then black is having ideas to go f7, f6, attacking this knight on e5 and moving the knight away. And also black can, hypothetically speaking, jump with the knight from e7 to f5, attacking this bishop, and knight is well placed on f5. Of course, this is not something I recommend on my own. This is the game Fabiano Caruana played against Mikhail Mechedlishvili. Bishop d7. This move I don't like. Of course, white isn't threatening queen b6. Mainly we played queen b3 that now knight e5 ideas aren't working. We can take queen b6 and then take on e5 with d or f pawns. Bishop d7. Now bishop d3 I like. Bishop should be standing on d3. Queen c7. No, this I don't like. Honestly speaking, this I don't like. And I think according to time management, we say that black didn't know this position much. Bishop d7, bishop d3, queen c7, short castle. White is better. You cannot castle long side with the black pieces. Short side castling will be also very dangerous. Rook is coming to f3, rook f3, rook h3. Queen always can come to c2. Yes, this queen c2, b5, and now a4. Yes, interesting. Black is having ideas to go knight c4, now a4. If b takes a, yes, at least I can take knight d7 and then take with the queen or with the rook. I can also consider rook takes a4. If you take, I take with the queen. You need to play some move with the king. Yes, b4, and now rook e1. No, I'm not big fan of this, but at least possible. I'm sure that white, yes, queen c2 I like. Another move is queen d1, but queen c2, b5. And here if we take knight d7, then queen d7 comes. Yes, we can take knight d7, knight f3, knight e5. We have ideas to go f5 at some point. Even here in this position we can go. But a4, b4. And now this is nothing because I can take and then I can take bishop b4. So it was rook e1 and now king f8, yes. Black was afraid of castling short side. It is super dangerous. I have rook f3 ideas. So it was king f8, f5. Yes, I think this should be, yes, over. No need to go a4. No need to go a4. f5, rook e8, bishop g5, threatening and having many different threats. Bishop f6, f takes c, knight f7, knight d7. Yes, b3 I think I can take, right? I can take, but bishop f4 comes. So this is the point, but I can easily play queen d1, bishop a4. No one cares about that pawn on a4. F takes c, you need to take with the rook, knight f3, bishop f5 ideas are there, bishop e8, bishop f5, bishop b5, and now I can take on e6, bishop e6. Because if you take bishop f1, I can take on f7 with the bishop or with the knight. Bishop f6, you need to take knight g5. I'm threatening knight e6, I'm threatening rook f6, and now knight e6, and black resigned. I think up to move 10, it was decent, more than decent. But here I don't like this idea of going bishop d7 and then playing queen c7, knight a5, b5. You need to know this knight g8, otherwise you are in some trouble. Okay, let's see another game. And Yanai Yuya, 1871, lost with the white pieces against Otsuka. FIDE master, e4, e5, knight c3, knight c6. Another move is to go knight f6. Also bishop c5 move is possible. Bishop c4, knight f6, d3. Yes, here you have bishop b4, you have knight a5. Bishop c5 is the third option. If I'm not mistaken, Anish played this bishop c5 against Vei. Yes, you can go f4. You have ideas. No, Anish didn't commit his knight on c6, knight e2. Yes, if you go knight f3, always you can switch to knight f3 and get some gioco piano type of positions or Italian. But the main point of delaying development of g1 knight is to play later on f2, f4. Yes, with the knight on e2 or f4 first and then knight f3. So f4, I'm not sure this works. No, it is possible. The e takes f, bishop f4, short castle, knight f3. Of course, black isn't having any real problems. Okay, knight e2, and now knight g4. Wow. Yes, very big. Oh, you see, very big inaccuracy. Knight g2, very big. Knight g4, and how do you defend? Bishop e3 doesn't work. Short castle, I will play queen h2. You need to go h3, and then knight f2 comes, or bishop f2 ideas are also there. You need to play d4, but this is definitely... So e takes d. Yes, what can you do? Knight a4 has been played because I have also knight f2, d3 ideas. I have d3 ideas, so you need to jump knight. Yes, this, and now d6. Not the strongest, but enough good. And now takes, knight g3, h5. And now knight e5 attacking the bishop, bishop b5, queen h4. Queen d2, maybe having ideas to go queen f4, queen g5, bishop b6, queen f4, takes, long castle. Black is massively better. Bishop takes f4, knight c4, f5. I can move my knight even a6. F takes c, a takes b, bishop c4, knight e3. Not allowing long castle, short castle attacking on c2 and g2. So then rook e1, g6. Because if I take, maybe you have knight h5, that's why g6. Knight takes g2, knight h4. If I go rook f2, rook d7, probably rook d7. And now takes. If rook h4, rook f1 comes. King e2, rook f8. This is completely hopeless. Rook endgame. C takes, c5 is coming. e5, c5. And your rook doesn't have many good squares. So here in this position, Yanai resigned. Let's see this one. I think this one was complicated. So Shinya Kojima is playing against Saito Hiromasa, 1870. For d4, d5, I played Shinya, I played Kojima, and very decent player, and a very strong chess player. d4, this is known. e3, knight b, yes, a3. Another move is to go e3. a3 is also possible. Yes, the main point of going here a3 is stopping knight bd7 or trying at least to get some new positions, because here e3, knight b5, knight bd7, knight b5 ideas are not possible. So we see that white went a3 and after knight d7, knight b5. So you don't have any bishop b4 checks, and here you need to go knight e8. But after knight e8, black isn't having much difficulties. If you play this, I think bishop c7 comes, c takes b, bishop d8, and now knight d6 comes. You need to take, otherwise your queen on e8 is trapped. And now bishop d6, you are going to lose an exchange. Yes, this is the main point of playing a3, to have this knight b5. Of course, here I can go c5, and you need to take and bishop c5 and play some e3 at some point. So knight e8 is good, e3, and now a6, knight c3, d takes c, bishop c4, b5. I think all this are well known. We can also see that, yes, knight e8 is needed. You need to go, a6 is needed, and now I need to take on c4, you need to take, and now b5 is coming. Bishop e2, black will go at some point, bishop b7, and then c5, knight is from e8 comes to f6. So bishop d3, and now c5 is an option. Bishop b7. Because if you go b4, I'm not sure that you have enough development to afford b4 ideas, because always I can push a5. And also, yes, before a5, short castle, a takes, and we are going to trade a and b pawns, both of them. So that's queen c2 attacking on h7, h6. You could also play this. Maybe e4 was, no, but e4 is nothing, c5, e5, knight h5. So it was h6, and now b4, stopping c5. No, bishop d6, this means that slowly you are going to have problems. Bishop f3, g takes f, we will take, then we can play rook g1 along g file. Yes, a5. You need to go a5, but what if I go rook b1? A takes b, and now you take bishop f3, g takes f, you play c6. I like this. I like this. Because if we would play c6 with the bishop on b7, so bishop doesn't do anything there. So here you have ideas to go knight c7, maybe knight d5, maybe knight c7, knight a6. You can always play bishop d6. Yes, bishop d6, and now bishop g3. If you take bishop f3, I'm happy. If you take bishop g3 as well, I will take h takes g, f5, short castle. Computer likes some d5 and then taking on f5, but I like short castle. Bishop g3, h takes g, knight d6. But you have long-term problems. You are not going to play any c5. You have ideas to eventually play e5, but I will play rook c1. I will play rook f2 d1, maybe knight e2, knight f4. So a4, bishop f3, g takes f, c6. And now queen b3 attacking the pawn, queen e7, a5. I'm not sure about a5. I'm not sure. Because why do we rush? I think we have some useful moves. No need to rush with a5. Still, very much decent. King h8, f4. making e5 ideas harder. Knight f6, rook is coming to c1, rook c8, rook c2, knight d5, rook c1. Yes, I like rook c1, rook c2, another rook is coming to c1, and now knight e2, queen d7, king g2. I would like to have bishop on f3, but always you have g4 ideas forcing me to take bishop d5. Also, if my bishop is on f3, you can try some nice c4. So king g7, h1, and here computer doesn't like g4 ideas because you aren't creating anything, only you are weakening your position. G4, but again it's not much. Knight c1. Wow, with the ideas to move the bishop to e2 and then knight d3, knight e5, or knight d3, knight c5. King g1. Otherwise, you may have some ideas to go c5. Let's say bishop e2, c5 is coming, of course. King g1, and then rook h8, bishop f1. Knight is coming to d3, bishop is most likely to g2. Knight d3. Rook h4 would have been better because opponent is having ideas to go h4. Maybe h takes g, maybe h3. And if you take on h4, then you are weakening your king side. So rook h4 would have been better, and now h4. Knight c5, queen e7, g takes h, rook h4. You can play some king g6, no need to rush. And now knight e6, if you take queen e6, then rook h4 comes. Big inaccuracy, rook takes h4. But still, position remains super complicated. Black is having ideas to go rook h8, always g3 ideas are there, knight e4 ideas are there. So it was this rook h8. You need to go king g7, wow, or g3. But g3 f takes g, queen g3, and then rook g2, but queen e3 comes. Rook h8, bishop g2. So queen h2 ideas are nothing. So knight c4, and then takes, queen c4. White is threatening queen c6 and queen a6. And now takes, knight f6, knight f3. Another decent move. Knight is coming to e5. Knight e5, and queen b7. And knight f7, and then takes. You don't have any real threats because queen h2, I have queen f3 check, and I'm also threatening queen f3. If you move the knight, then queen h7 ideas are coming. Now check takes, because this is completely lost. So Shinya Kojima won with the white pieces first game, and let's continue. We have 3 more games from round 1, and this one we see Nanjo with the black pieces, he won. So this bishop b5, g6, short castle, bishop g7, rook e1, e5. Another move is to go knight f6, but I like e5, b4. And here, yes, both c takes b and knight b4 ideas are there. Knight b4, and bishop b2. Yes, you need to go bishop b2, but 1850, he knew this. You can also go c3 and d4, bishop b2, a6, and now a3. If I go knight c6, then you can take, and my pawn on e5 is under attack, so I need to take, takes, and d6, b takes c, and knight e7. If I'm not mistaken, we are having game of Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces against FIDE World Championship match. C takes d queen d6, and now another move is to go d4. I remember Magnus and FIDE, they made a video for Team Liquid, and they explained all the details. And now knight c3, another move. Yes, you can go short castle, but knight b5 will be coming. Queen c5 you have. Again, knight e2, preparing d4, maybe some sacrifices on e4, e5, and then d4. So b4 is very logical. Knight d5. Again, if you take, I will take, and then you are losing your pawn on e5. And then short castle. Black isn't having any problems, and I think we can say that black knew up to queen d6. Yes, you can also take and then go short castle. We are going to end up in some equal position. So short castle d4. I like how white is playing d4. You need to open this a1 h8 diagonal. Your bishop from a1. It takes d, and now bishop takes d4. Knight c6. So I have knight d5. I have bishop d4, queen d4, knight d5. So black is having some small difficulties, but with precise play, I think they are super close to make a draw. Knight c6, this computer doesn't like much. Bishop g7, king g7, queen a1, f6, and knight d4, rook d1, another interesting move. You need to play some bishop g4, and if I play knight e3, you are just moving your queen and defending bishop on g4. So instead of bishop g4, it was queen c5 and knight d4. White is playing so well, but the main problem, of course, white doesn't have any time at the moment. Thank you everyone for watching, and please like and subscribe. Of course, if you like, knight takes d4. I can take queen d4, I can take rook d4. And now if you take rook d4, then you are losing your pawn on b4. And now knight b4. Yes, I would say this is unpleasant because I can start playing some h3. Knight is coming to d1, and then along maybe a or c files I can try activating my rook. Also, I have always c5 ideas, and I don't see uh, anything for black. So queen e2, queen d3. I don't like this. Queen d3, rook takes d3, and here, of course, black isn't having any problems. Rook e8, attacking the pawn, f3, f5, rook d4, f takes c, f takes c, rook f8, stopping king f2 ideas, h3, bishop e6, knight d3, having ideas to go knight c5, maybe b5, with the ideas to get the bishop on c4, rook b4, bishop c4, knight e5, rook c8, king f2. Yes, even you can take, but it doesn't seem very easy to take and to play rook b2. Maybe knight f3, you go knight f3, you go king e3. Always you have knight d4 ideas. So knight, but because of time pressure, black managed to equalize the position and even maybe get some small hopes. Knight b6, rook f8, king e3, bishop f1, and computer says knight d5 because bishop g2 I have knight f4. So rook b2 defending, and now knight d5, bishop c4, knight c7, king e5. But here very beautiful. Oh, this knight b5 is working. And here, dear viewers, with 35 seconds on clock, white didn't capture this and didn't secure draw in this game, because if you take, you don't have anything better than playing rook d3 and then taking my pawn on e4 at some point. Because if you try rook b8, I have this knight a3, or even I have knight d6. You take my knight, I take your rook on b8, and of course if you take rook b2, then knight c4 comes. So it was knight a6, but here knight doesn't do anything. You are not attacking my pawn on b5. I have rook d3. You are going to lose already. Pawn on e4 is very weak. So it was check, king d4. Not the strongest. Computer likes more this. Rook a3, and now you need to play knight c7, one of the ideas, otherwise you lose this pawn, and then rook a7. If you take rook b7, and now if you try knight d6 or knight a3, but your king is on f2, and then I will take on b2 with the check. So knight a6, rook d3, and now king d4, having ideas to go king c3, knight b4, rook c3. Players are making some inaccuracies. Knight c6, king c5, knight a3. Yes, rook a3 is coming. Yes, king a4. Black is completely winning. I can start pushing b4, b3. Rook a2 ideas are there. King d3, rook b3, rook b1. Yes. Now, because of time pressure, white lost the game. Very unfortunately for them. I think generally from start up to move 30, 35. They played very good chess. Tanaka. And let's see, two more games are there. And this one, Nakahara with the white pieces won against 1843 Araki Dai. We have Karokan advanced variation, e5, bishop f5, knight f3, bishop e2, and Noderberg Abdusatorov yesterday with the black pieces won against Zhu Jainer in this line. I think he played generally knight d7, knight d7, a5, h6. Knight d7, short castle, knight d7, knight h4. Another ideas are to go c3. You can go also a4, rook is coming to e1. You have ideas knight bd2, knight f1, or knight a3, knight c2. Of course, if knight is on e7 and bishop a3 ideas are not uh, ruining your pawn structure. And if knight is not on e7, you have ideas to go a4 and then knight a3. Knight is coming to c2 after c3. Black is, of course, always preparing the c5, knight c6 stuff. So knight h4. White says, your pawn is not on h6, and let me play this knight h4, bishop g6, knight d2, knight f5, taking the bishop, and then knight f3. I like this very much. Yes, I have my ideas to go g3, h4, king g2, c3, and now g3. That's why computer likes here going knight h4. Because your knight isn't well placed on f5. If you go short castle, I will play king g2, h4, rook h1, h5, and maybe you are potentially in some attack. Queen v6, preparing c5 idea, c3, and now c5, a4, typical idea. You want to push a5, and now b4. C4. I don't like much c4. Why not c takes d? C takes d, probably some a5 is coming. C takes b as well. A5 is coming. No, the best should be c takes b. Even if you go this queen c7 or queen d8, you take. I can take with the bishop. So c4, a5, bishop f4, making all f6 ideas. Not possible. Knight b8, knight is coming to c6, maybe later on a7 and b5. Queen d2, rook fb1, knight a7, knight b5. Yes, generally tempting move. King c6, g5, bishop takes c7. White is anyway better, and I would say much better. Queen g5, trading the queens, because if you take knight g5 comes, and then you are losing on f7 as well. So bishop takes b5, queen takes c7. You need to take and g4 and king g3. Wow. Very interesting by Nakahara. So he captured on b5 because always pawn on c3 was under attack, and g4, king g3. Your knight on h6 doesn't have any good squares to go. And computer also likes here some a6 ideas. So rook a6 you will take, and rook a1, and if b takes a, I think you can double and take on a6 and get control over a file. Rook h8, knight e1, knight is coming to a3 maybe. Computer likes more knight g2. If knight a3, king c6, rook h5, knight f5, g takes f, rook h5, rook f5, e takes f, and now takes, b6, knight a3, takes. B takes a, you need to take with the pawn, because if you take with the rook, I will just take and then b4. Before he rushed. No, he rushed. Dai Araki rushed because king c6 would have been stronger. E4, b4, c takes b, king b5. So he played this, c takes b, king c6. And now rook g1. You go rook g1 and you take, I guess you just take, right? I take, and if I go some c3, you push h6 and you have rook g1 ideas, if need be. Yes, we are having this and h6, and now rook g1, and now h7, threatening h8, and now king g5, king is coming to f6, f7 or g7, rook c1. Here in this position, Araki resigned because I'm ready to take on c2. Once I take on c2, then slowly I will make my pawn to queen. I think close to end of the game, Araki got very decent chances to make a draw, but didn't work because of rushness, because of this b4, and he forgot that opponent can go rook g1, capture on g7, and still white is in time to get the rook back and defend this uh, pawn on stop this pawn on c4. And the final game from round one, uh, Azumi Sakai, WCM, is playing against Kohei Yamada, d4 knight f6, c takes d. Some other moves are also possible, queen c2, e3, g3, bishop f4, bishop g5. So c takes d, bishop g5, c6, e3, h6, bishop h4, this is well known. You need to go bishop d3, another move is to play queen c2. And here, short castle. I'm familiar with short castle, queen c2, rook e8 ideas, but knight e4. Bishop takes c7, queen takes c7, queen c2, attacking the knight on e4, bishop e4, knight e4 ideas are there. And you can go knight d6 or knight f6 first, knight e5, very logical chess. Having ideas to go f3, you can also castle short side first. Knight c3, b takes c, knight g4, short castle, I like this. I like everything by Azumi Sakai. And here rook e8, so bishop f5, another typical move. And the main point is being if f3 you want to take on c3 and doesn't matter. But wait. Yes, f3, knight c3, bishop takes f5, and knight b5. Yes, you need to start pushing g4. I think when I was analyzing similar positions very recently, I noticed that engines are recommending, because the main point is being if you take with the queen or you take with the b pawn, then I go bishop d3 and I don't have any bad pieces, and knight is coming to d7 to get rid of this knight on e5. Bishop f5, knight b5. Here seems like you are having you managed to get this bishop on f5, but knight is coming to d6 if you push a4. Otherwise, e4 ideas are not possible. Your pawn on d4 is hanging, so you don't have any b4, a4, b5 ideas. They are not unpleasant and strong, but you have g4. You can go, for example, bishop d3 at some point, and knight d6, g4, h4, queen is coming to g2. So rook e1, I don't like. I don't like rook e1 because you aren't really preparing any e4. So this bishop, this, and I can take on f5. So bishop d3 would have been better, but knight is going to d7 anyway. So this knight takes f5, queen takes f5. Black isn't having any problems. Rook d8, b4, knight e8. Yes, if you would go knight e8 here, queen d7 ideas, queen d7, knight d7. So it was this, before knight e8, knight is coming to d6, knight d6, queen c2, a6, stopping b5 ideas, queen c5, rook e8. I like how Yamada Kohei is playing. b5 is stopped. I can take a takes b, a takes b, knight takes b5. You don't have e4 ideas because your position will be super shaky after e4. And I'm slowly preparing this f6. And now queen is 6, f6. Computer doesn't like it much. Knight g6 and knight f4 would have been better. Queen f5, g7. And here you need to take or move your queen somewhere because white is ready to go e4, but h5 and now e4. D takes cf takes e queen g6, and again nothing. White is not worse, but of course at the same time black cannot be worse as well. Queen b3. I would most likely push h3. Queen b3, queen f7, queen g3, rook d8, defending the knight on d6, queen d3, queen c4. Yes, eventually offering and maybe forcing opponent to trade the queens, queen c4. Yes, you need to. It would have been better for white to keep the queens on the board, to always threaten some e5 ideas. And now takes, and this is unpleasant because all your pawns, or most of them, are hanging, like pawns on e4 and d4. So this, and now takes, g takes f, not the strongest. Knight d6 would have been better, and you are going to win some of the pawns because here rook e4, amazing move, rook e4, forcing trade of the rooks, and then you take and knight is jumping to c5. At the same time, you threaten knight takes f6. Knight c5, knight e5. If you take, I take on b4, and now a5. Again, you need to play rook e4. Of course, you don't consider rook e4 very seriously because this is in black's favor to... No, but anyway, it's lost. Knight d7, beautiful tactical idea. What was this? King e7, king is coming closer to d6, d5, 5, rook c4, king b4. Yes, not the strongest, knight g6, because here some king c5 ideas can be there. King c5, c3, king b5. Knight d3, knight takes d3, c takes d. Okay, this is all about first round of Japan Chess Championship, and now let's move to our live games. So we have Kota Nagatagi with the white pieces 2037 rated against Tran 2 2402. And we have Otsuka against Furuya. We have Matsuo Tomohiko against Kojima Shinya. And we have Danjo against Koji. We have Hiroto Taga against Kan Nakahara. And we have Kohei Yamada against Yuma Okabe. Let's see, what are we having at d4 knight c6? Wow, he came 30 minutes late. I think this is I have noticed because once in 2025 I played in Japan, and I'm familiar with some of the players, and I can say that Toronto, he likes coming late, being late. And I remember when I was playing him, he was also late, maybe another 10, 15, or even maybe more. So if knight c6, knight f3, d6, d4 knight f6, knight c3. But of course, time I was wrong because I think we have, yes, we have some small broadcast issues. This is not from my side. See, from start of the game up to now, it shows the same time. So this knight c3, g6, and here we have many different moves. We have bishop e3, bishop e2, bishop g7, short castle, short castle. Yes, this is already known. If d5, then knight e5 is the move to go. Let's say this takes. Black is having ideas to go knight e8, and then knight is coming to d6, and then f5. Also, if you play something slow, then I have e6 ideas, another typical uh, break in the center. Yes, and if you don't play d5, then black is ready to go e5. No, you need to play e5. If I'm not mistaken here, you need to play e5. Yes, you need to play e5. And d5, knight e5, knight e5, yes. Knight b4 and knight b8 are also possible. So this a6, preparing b5, and also whenever you push d5, the knight is coming to e5, knight e5 d takes c. I think generally I need this a7, a6 move very much. a4, I think you have some other good moves like maybe h3. No, a5 is great. And now e5 in the center. If you go d5, then of course knight d7. This I don't like for white because soon black will be moving the knight from f6, knight e8 or knight g4, and then f5 is coming. And I don't like my setup and placement of my pieces, and especially knight on c3. I would like to have my pawn on c4, then b4, c5. So d takes c, and here I think both captures are working. D takes c and knight e5. D takes c is better. Takes, you need to take, bishop c4, and here bishop e6. Bishop e6, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but seems like knight e8 or h6 stopping knight g5, but not this one. Takes, takes, and now rook d1 and h6. White is better because of black's pawn structure, and especially these doubled pawns on e5 and e6. And yes, from the other point of view, you are controlling d4 square, you are controlling d5 square, you are not allowing any knight d5 ideas. I think I need to move this knight from f3 and then go f3. I would like to play some knight d2, knight c4, or knight d1, knight d3, or maybe knight d2, knight b3. But of course, whenever I move this knight, the knight is coming to d4. Okay, white is slightly better. This white is having super safe position. Let's see this one. Otsuka is playing against Masahiro. Before c5, a6, c4. It's the strongest continuation. Another move is to go knight c3 or bishop b3. One of the strongest. So this knight f6, e5 ideas aren't working because of queen a5. So knight c3, queen c7. Stopping e5, a3. Another move is to go bishop e2. And then if bishop b4, you can play queen d3. And bishop e2, you are preparing short castle and you don't care much about bishop b4, a3. And now bishop e3, bishop b7, f3, d6, rook c1. This is also well known. Black is playing bishop e7, knight bd7, short castle. Bishop e2, short castle, b4. And now you can play rook fe8, rook a d8, maybe rook fd8, rook a c8. Cross this, queen d2, queen d8, rook fd1, I like, knight d5, attacking the pawn on c4, knight a4. Yes, after knight a4, you are maybe having some ideas to move the knight from d4 and then attack on b6, so knight fd7. And f4, I'm not sure about f4. It was f4. And here you have knight g6, but knight g6 doesn't look great. So it was knight c6, and white is thinking. Of course, you can take knight c6, bishop c6. You can play knight c3. We will definitely come back to this game. Let's see this one. So Tomohiko is playing against Kojima. Karogan, knight c3, takes bishop f5, knight g3, h4, h6, knight f3, h5, bishop d3, takes. Main theoretical line is 6 bishop d2. Another move is to go bishop f4, but after bishop f4, usually queen a5 check is coming. Knight f6 and bishop e7. You have another move, queen c7. something like queen e2, long castle, knight e5, and here you need to play knight b6. Don't take on e5 because after d takes c you are having a lot of difficulties. Bishop e7 um, and c4. I think you have some knight e4 ideas. King b1, knight e4. C4 doesn't really work because of b5. Super typical move. If you go c5, then black is getting full control or control over d5 square, and knight can come to d5. Later on, you can start pushing your a and b pawns. If you don't take on, if you don't push c5, then doesn't matter c takes b or b takes c. Anyway, black is having some control and good control over d5. Of course, another attempt is to get my and win my pawn, but let's say c takes b, c takes b, and if you take, I play short castle. King b1. I can start with rook b8. Here, of course, c and b files are open. I have d5 square for my knight. I will castle short side, and more than enough compensation, and black is already much better. So king b1. So the best would have been, yes, the best is king b1, short castle. And now c takes b. If you take c takes b, I guess queen b5 works. So c takes b, queen b6, b takes c, queen c6, or rook a b8, and then b3, queen c6. Black is having enough compensation. Hmm. Because if I take and takes, if I take with the queen, rook b8, yes, still you have with the black pieces enough compensation. So it was this, knight e4, and b takes c, I have knight f6. If you take knight e4, queen e4, pawn on c6 is hanging, so b takes c, knight f6, knight f6, queen c4, queen b6, black is ready to go rook a b8, another rook can easily come to c8, knight is coming to d5, rook b8. The best is to play some rook c8. And seems like black is preparing c5. That's why white went bishop e3, making c5 ideas harder. But computer says rook h3, knight e5, or rook c1 moves are better. So this, and now knight d5, I think we will see knight d5 very soon. Yes, let's continue. And this one, what are we having? Nanjo with the white pieces against Koji, 1981, e4, g6, and then this, d6, bishop e3, a6, preparing this b5, knight d7, bishop b7 ideas, g4. I like also this h4 with the ideas to go h5, and if opponent plays h5, you play knight h3. So g4, b5, bishop g2, preparing and having some ideas to go e5, bishop b7, h4. White is ready to go h5. I remember recently I have been playing in Title Tuesday and my opponent went h5. Here you take and you have rook h5 and you go bishop f3 and then white plays h5, opens up h and g files, and white is massively better. So h6. Another idea, g5. If you go h5, then you are making your knight development harder because you don't have knight f6 ideas anymore. And h take g here I don't capture with the h pawn. I go h5. Again, I'm trying to open up the position, open up h and g files. So g takes h, rook takes h5. Yes, takes, and this should be already very unpleasant. This should be very unpleasant, and yes, white is h4, e6, h5, before knight e2. So if you go h5, knight h3, knight e2, d5. Now h5. Very important move. Hmm. Knight f6, h takes g. Yes, I remember that before this line is working. I have moves like knight d5, but this one is also working. So here I take g takes f. You need to take. I take bishop h1. You need to take. And here's some knight f3. So g takes h, rook h5. No need to capture on h5. Takes, and now knight d7. But black forgot about e5. Super typical. I'm ready to go bishop b7. I'm also threatening e6. If you go bishop g2, then e6 finishes the game. And always your pawn on g5 is hanging. If you go knight h6 to stop queen f7, then queen g5 comes, and your position simply collapses. Your knight is hanging, your bishops are hanging. So it was d takes c, bishop takes b7, e takes d, bishop takes a8, and now queen takes a8. Computer likes more retreating to bishop to d5. Yes, white is, of course, winning. What are we having here? Hiroto Taga with the white pieces against Nakahara. So this, then bishop b4, a5, bishop e7. Yes, here e4 is not possible because of knight e4. And after short castle, we have this line. And then e4, d5, or d6 is coming. So a5, and now bishop e7, e4, and again d5, knight e4. I think knight f7 is also possible once I played, or I think someone played against me, knight e4. Maybe knight f7 is stronger. So takes with the bishop. You need to play some d takes c and then knight d7, or maybe knight c6. But here I can take and then e6. Wow, e6, f takes c, bishop d3 is working. Let's say I take. I have also h4, knight g5 idea, so takes. I have bishop d3, but it's not much. So I push this. You need to take. I go bishop d3. And your pawn on h7 is hanging, and you don't have any convenient ways to protect your pawn on h7. So it was h4, another great move. D takes c, bishop takes c4, knight b6, trying to get the knight on d5. Also bishop d7, bishop c6, and h6. Rook c1. No, I don't like rook c1 much, and I like more rook h3, rook g3. Bishop e4, making bishop d7 ideas are there because this bishop d7. And if we take what will be following, I guess, yes, you cannot really take because takes, and bishop is coming to c6, and your rook cannot go back. King d8, bishop d8, knight d5 ideas are there. Bishop e4, knight d5 again because I'm threatening bishop b7 and also queen c7. So in the end of the line, you don't have any bishop c6. Knight d5, again, bishop d5, it takes d, queen c7 shouldn't be working, and this is white's move to play. And our fifth game, Kohei Yamada with the white pieces against Yuma Okabe. Yes, e3 is one of the moves. d4 is also possible. Bishop g7. You can also take c takes d, bishop g7, and here d5, but e4 has been played. Queen a5, you need to play knight c3, knight f6, and now bishop d3. It's very decent. Knight c6, d takes c or d5, both are working. Knight g4, threatening some bishop c3, short castle takes, queen captures, rook b1, having ideas to go rook b5, and now h3. Yes, white is of course massively better. Okay, let's start analyzing. So this is slightly better for white. King f1 has been played. I'm not that sure that I would like to place my king on e2 so early, because I'm sure that my knight doesn't do much on f3, and I would like to have my knight on c4, b3. But with the king on e2, if I move the knight, then always knight d4 comes. And also this knight on c3 doesn't do much. And long term, black is having ideas to go bishop f8 and bishop b4, which I like very much. So knight before, I'm not scared of knight before because always knight e1 is coming. Knight a5, knight c4 are nothing. Knight h5 is nothing. Knight g4 you have. Yes, knight g4 can be potentially played. Yes, I can go bishop c5 maybe. Now black is having ideas to play king f7, bishop f8. I like bishop f8, bishop b4 for example. I think white is somehow wasting his time. And this one, e5, wow, f4, knight c6 here, I think knight c3 is very logical move. You can also take knight c6, forcing opponent bishop c6, and now knight c3, because both e4 pawn and a4 are under attack, but here e5. I I like this idea, e5. What is happening? If I take, I can take knight d4, I can take d takes c, and I think after d takes c, you are having two ideas. One is knight d6, f takes c, queen d7. But this one, I'm not sure that, yes, it is possible, but another one can be knight c6, because rook c6, queen d7 comes. And if I go bishop c6, then you have this b5 stuff. Now, b5, this is somewhat, no, this doesn't work. So you need to take, I guess, knight captures e6 and f takes c, queen d7. You are threatening queen e6, you are threatening queen b7. So basically you force, because knight d4, what if I take? You will be playing some knight e2. I will go some king f1. And this doesn't look great. No, but knight d4 is coming. No, you have knight d4. You have knight d4 because queen d7, rook d7. This is just lost. Knight b6 is coming. Rook b7 is hanging. E5. What should Masahiro do? Knight d4. If I take, I didn't know this idea. Honestly speaking, I didn't know this idea. I have d5 maybe. Can I afford some d5? And the point is being takes bishop c6 is coming. And if you take c takes d, I will be taking knight d4. But this doesn't look great, of course. This doesn't look great because at least I'm losing my pawn on b6. I'm not sure about d6. Probably d6 isn't working. I'm also not sure about d takes c. Yes, but the easiest you can take, bishop d5, you can always take knight b6. I need to take, takes, and this is super unpleasant. Yes, e5, what else can I do? Knight e5 sacrifices I don't like. b5 shouldn't be working because you also threaten e takes d, bishop d6, and then you can start sacrificing as well. Yes, e5. Mm-hmm. It takes c, knight takes c6. Yes, you need to take, right? Knight f3 and knight b3 are nothing. Knight c6, bishop takes c6. Yes, you will be taking here. I need to take f takes c. You need to take queen d7. And here I would like to check this one because bishop d7, bishop d4, queen d7 comes, rook d4. I can take e takes d, and at least I'm not worse. And if queen d8, but queen d8, I think I'm super close to equalize the game after some knight e2. Oh, no, 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 no. No, queen d8 is coming. I need to take with the rook. I apologize. Rook d8, and now knight b6 isn't working. Yes, but you can easily go bishop d4, right? Bishop d4 and knight b6 game over. No, knight d4 isn't working, and d takes c also does not work. If I take knight d4, I think you will be taking with the queen, right? Now you threaten knight b6, you threaten also d takes c, and e takes d, and d takes c isn't working. If I try some bishop c6, you can at least go this. Yes, this is lost. Take C, F take C, I don't care much. No, but what's the best move? What's the best move? Let's see. And we have 95, 95, and Rook C7. We aren't taking on C6 and Rook C1. I think very logical move. Because if I even take, you have so many moves and so many tempting, and one of them can be Rook C8. How do I play? 95 isn't working, and the only move I have is maybe to take Queen D5 already, because this you have 97. Oh, Queen C7, Rook C7, Queen B3, Queen B3, or Rook C2, Queen A4, Queen D3 does not work. D5 doesn't work because Rook C2 and then Rook takes Rook C4 and then Rook takes C2. You need to take, and I need to take, and you need to take, and I think I need to take only 7 because any other square you have knight C8. So I need to take, you will take, I will play King H7. Black is massively better. Bishop B4, because of Rook C8, there is this Queen D5, 97. So Rook C1 we fully understand, and here what should Black do? What if I play Bishop A3? You have always Knight D3, huh? Hello, hello everyone, hello everyone. Okay, this one I like Black's position, no doubts. White is solid. Knight b4, but you will just move your rook somewhere. Knight a3, f takes c, bishop a6, bishop d6. c5 ideas aren't really working, because now d takes c comes, and you don't have time to capture with the bishop, because if you go knight e3 here, I won't take f takes c, I will take, of course, on b6, knight c4, and b takes c, white is winning. Again, I'm not sure that I really threaten this pawn. You have bishop a3, and you are threatening bishop b2, and you are forcing me to play this knight d3 move. Maybe you need to go this. Also, I'm not sure if I go bishop d6, you really can take here. Let's say this. You are going to queen a4. So what's the best move here for black? What's the best move here for black? Bishop f6 I don't like. Bishop d6 I like. Bishop b4 I don't understand. Why do I go bishop b4? Bishop a3, knight d3. Maybe I can go bishop a3 and then after knight d3, bishop d6. Knight b4 is possible move, but again, very concrete one. Very concrete one because I give also some ideas like d5. It doesn't really work. But why? Why doesn't this work? Because you take c takes d, I have queen c7, you take e takes d, bishop b6, bishop c7 is coming. Your queen is under attack, I have also d takes c. You need to play some queen a5, I guess, to stop d takes c because of queen e5. Ah, maybe you are right. But still, line goes knight takes c6. Again, knight d5 isn't working. You can take queen d5, but I'm not sure that after queen d5 you can be better. And yes, knight c6, d takes c. So I have d5 ideas. No, you can go bishop a3, because this move most likely forces me to go knight d3, and bishop d6 back. You can also play direct bishop d6. Bishop d6, yes. Now you maybe threaten bishop e5 also. And if I take rook c6, queen c6, you might have rook c8. Like it's playing rook c8. Super solid. They don't go any bishop d6 or anything else. Yes, I don't see problems. I can go queen a4. But again, it is important. It is important. Otherwise, if I start playing some queen a4, so what about queen a4 now? Knight e3 f takes c. Knight b4, you are very much welcome. I will play some rook c4, maybe even rook c3. And I don't think you have c5. I will just take it, right? Yes, this cannot work for you. And I'm ready to take rook c6. You take. And then, what do you want? c5? But c5 again. You need to check everything because I have 97 also. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. And we see that bishop a3. Computer even says knight e3 f takes is c5. Is this queen b3? Queen b3, classy move. Queen a4. Queen a4 is also possible. Queen a4 forces to take and to play c5, but yes, first this is obvious that white cannot be worse. I have knight d7, I have d takes c, and you know, we are going to have some equality. So rook b c8, and let's continue. This one, queen takes g5, king f8, and rook d1. I think this is going to be game over or not. How am I stopping rook d1? So this, now white is rook up. If you take here, I'm not going to take f takes c or queen e3. I will take there. I will take there. I don't afraid of any bishop c3. You need to take king takes f2. And here you have some checks. You have also queen c6, but rook d8 is coming. You have this. It's nothing. Bishop c3 is nothing. No, who knows? Who knows? You can try. Knight f6 is nothing. Yes, you can take. I need to take. And my idea was knight f6, double attack, but here nothing will be working, of course. I have this check. You need to go this, and rook d4 should be enough. So, and if you take here, I need to take rook d7, you need to take c takes b, and here I don't have anything better than just retreating my rook to d1. So rook d1, and here you don't have queen e4, you don't have queen c6 because rook d8 is super annoying idea. I have bishop c3, but again you have king e2, let's say king f1, you have. You can try knight f6, but still, white needs to be precise because after knight f6, I'm threatening some knight e4 ideas. But anyway, somehow it feels very good for. But I don't have knight e2. I wanted to play knight e2 to make knight e4 ideas not that tempting. But here queen h1 comes, and if king d2, you have knight e4. If queen g1, you can take, and then yes, queen g1 I need to play. But why not long castle? Why not long castle here? Because of this, maybe. And then c takes b. No, this should be winning. Knight f6 is coming again. Knight f6, knight e4. Maybe you can. This is possible. And you are going to lose another minor piece. And what does computer say? Yes, rook d1 is good. Long castle is also good, but d takes c you need to take with the queen because this. And you need to take with the f or with the queen, but not rook d7 because here after e takes f you are lost because f takes g is coming, f1 is coming, bishop h6 is coming. Yes, long castle. You can also go bishop d4 and long castle, so it was rook d1. And if I try d takes c, this is just lost. Rook d7, e takes f, king f2, that's lost. If I go this, you will take there, and then you will play rook d1. If knight f6, you have many moves. Bishop d4 stopping knight d4. Yes, you need to play some e5. We have e5, but another big inaccuracy, I would say, defending the pawn. But oh, this should be winning. This should be winning because I can even give up and sacrifice my knight on c3, and then position is anyway massively better. I can also try to defend all my pieces because whenever you take on c3 or e3, then I'm having rook d7. And this one, rook h3, I like very much. Rook h2, rook is coming to g3, and then I'm attacking this pawn on g7. And how are you going to defend? I think you need to play bishop c6. I don't see anything better than bishop c6, but at the same time, your bishop doesn't do much from c6. If you go bishop b5, what's the point of bishop b5? You want to play some c6 maybe later on. You can actually, but if you are trying to stop short castle ideas, then I don't think I really want. So maybe you have bishop b5, you have also bishop c6, and short castle ideas are suicide, like going this, rook g3 comes, and bishop b5, yes, bishop b5. Black is going bishop b5, making king f1, king g1 ideas harder. Yes, and I think the logical follow-up for rook h3 is to go rook g3, attacking here. Bishop h4 doesn't work because of rook g7. And yes, you have g6 ideas, but most likely will be playing some king f8. I don't like bishop f8 also. Yeah, g6 is also working. I agree. G6 is working. Rook g6 shouldn't be much, and this takes. You have king d7, and your king is super safe on d7. You have g6. I'm not sure that you really want to play g6, but you have it. And the point of bishop b5 is being to play c6 later on, and maybe even a4 later on. Okay. And knight f6. Black went knight f6, and I think white is having super convenient position. You can go bishop h6. You can also try some other moves like bishop e3, knight d4, and then f4. Now what can I do? I can try bishop e3. I have also bishop h6, stopping short castle ideas. Of course, e5, I'm not big fan of e5, but I'm sure we are having. You need to take, and now I need to take maybe this. I have also rook e1, so let's say takes, and here, what do I play? I go rook e1, I guess. Yes, I think I need to play some rook e1. But maybe no need to go. Can try bishop h6, but black will go some d6 stuff. What if we try bishop e3? Or where do you go? Do you go queen h5? Do you go queen a3? Do you go queen a5? Because queen a5, logically you would go, but I have bishop b6. And your queen doesn't have many good squares. Maybe now you need to go. And now e5, we are having e5. Wow. And both bishop e3, e5. You need to take, and I guess knight takes e5, and then takes. Rook is coming to e1. Rook is coming to e1. So white is massively better. And here we have knight e2. And if you take rook b7 is coming, but aren't we blundering anything? Aren't? Like takes? Yes, we have f takes e and we have queen e3, but if I want to take, but it takes f, because I want to take king f2. Ah, yes, king f2, knight f6 was my idea. You know, some double attack. Knight e4 is coming. Who? He wants to play some queen f5. What's the knight e2? That's, what am I missing? Actually, nothing. D takes c. Yes, you have queen e3, you have f takes c, and here e takes f, you need to take, otherwise some compensation. And here if I play knight f6, seems like I want to go a knight e4 and knight d7, yes, but queen f5. If I take queen d7, that position is completely hopeless because my bishop on g7 doesn't do anything. I think we are going to have Kohei Yamada winning his game. Also, we are going to have Nanjo winning his game. What about 96? Of course, 96. And this is also lost. Wow. Knight a4 and maybe here no need to go this 95 stuff. You can try some rook b8 or maybe rook b8 here, but not this one. f4 is coming. Knight g6 f5 and this one e5. I didn't know. Honestly speaking, I have seen, of course, similar ideas, but exactly here in this position with the knight on c6, with the knight on d7, you go e5. Of course, we understand that d takes e96 counts, but b5 c takes b. If you take knight d4, I think we check this, and now d5, always knight b6 ideas are coming, and now knight d6. You need to take. I go queen d7, and you need to play knight d4. But I think I was thinking about queen d8, rook d8 is bishop d4 is coming, but I have also this. I have also this, and if you take, I go king somewhere. Knight d4, queen is coming back. So computers aren't. Hello, hello, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Now white is massively better, and we have queen a4 as I guessed. Now you need to take knight e3, and after f takes c, you need to play some c5, as computers explained or pointed out. And like knight d7, I was thinking about knight d7. Why? Queen b4 isn't working. Queen c6 I can take and then capture on c5. Queen d6, but now this you are having some problems. No, rook d7. Maybe you have rook d7, queen d7. What are you going to play? c4 c takes d does not work. Queen c6 I can take and then I can take knight c5. No, I don't like how Kojima, Shinya Kojima continued because he had some slightly preferable position and now he needs to be very careful, otherwise he might have some problems. Yes, computer likes your queen b3 more because after trade of the queens, then who is going to defend on c6? But we have also this queen a4. You need to take and you need to push c5, but I have also d takes c. I'm also not sure how are you going to capture d takes c. Maybe rook takes c5, but I have some moves, right? I can take, for example, again if you take bishop c5 and rook c5 doesn't look great at all. Wow. So you need to take. Otherwise, I will take rook c6. Rook c6, so rook c6, rook c6, and white is already better. So takes this. I have knight d7 and I have d takes c, both. So here you need to play bishop c5, I guess, right? Or maybe first taking with the rook. Because knight d7, you can at least go some rook c2 ideas. And queen d7 shouldn't be that dangerous. So this you have this move, of course. You can take, and now I need to take, and you of course can go somewhere and defend your rook, but still some small problems might be there for you. And if bishop c5, I wasn't sure how am I going to stop. Like knight d7, queen b4 isn't working, queen c6 isn't working, queen d6, knight takes c5. You want to play some queen d6, okay. It's queen d6. I need to take, you will be taking. And queen a7 ideas aren't working. I need to take. You will be taking. Queen e8 f7 doesn't work. Queen a7 doesn't work. I need to take. Takes. And I have this. Queen f8 you have, but I think pawn endgame will be dangerous for you. Maybe better to go this. And if I take, you go queen e3. Maybe bishop c5 is the move. And if knight d7, how do I play now? Because this, queen d6, I can just take, no? Yes, you have. You are having some activity, and especially queen d5. Maybe this is the best, you know? You threaten my pawn, you threaten the other one. Because look, you need to take. You need to take. Uh, and after f takes c, you need to play c5. And here if d takes c, yes, both bishop c5, bishop c5, but some small problems are there for you. Like knight d7, queen d6 is forced. And now I need to take, you need to take. And no need to go rook c5, and then after rook takes c5, rook takes c5, queen takes c5, queen e8. Queen f8, some problems might be there. And then queen f7. Yes, this is queen d5, queen e3 should be enough, but I have some, you might be having problems after queen d4. Rook c2, rook c2. If you move your queen, then rook c8 and queen a7. If you take, takes, you need to take, take, and pawn endgame is lost. And generally, I will start pushing my b and a pawns. So you need to play rook c5, and rook c5, rook c5 is coming. If knight d7, you will be taking, and then you will be playing queen b7 or queen d8. Wow. And if I go knight d7, you play queen d6, and what's the idea? Knight c5, queen h2, black is better. Rook c5, rook c5, knight c5, bishop g5. But another move is to go this, not queen b8, of course, queen b7. And I have d takes c, I have also knight c5, queen d5, for example. And this, you don't have rook d7, c6 is coming, but you have some rook c6. Wow. And black is of course already thinking, and yes, this is lost. This is lost. You need to play some. Knight b6 is coming, and I think we are go. Oh, bishop d4. He blundered. He blundered another move. Bishop d4. He takes d, and then bishop c5. Bishop c5. Super beautiful. Bishop c5 is coming, and king e8. You need to go because this is checkmate. Rook d8, queen d8, queen d8. You need to play king e8 and queen e3. I think this is just over. This is just over. Very good game. Very good game so far by Nanjo. He is dominating, and yes, I like also his first round opening. I think he knew up to queen d6 position, and today he also knew this g4, h4, g takes h, g5, and h5. Very important. I also recommend to our viewers. And yes, he is going to win. And bishop c5, of course. You take rook d8 is coming. Maybe uh, because if you don't go bishop c5, yes, anyway, you are winning. But you know, I will take it takes d. Maybe some small chances and small hopes. So this is completely lost. And after queen a4, and this is we are having rook e1 already. So takes only 5 takes and rook e1. White is of course being ahead in development and where to go, what to do. I have bishop h6 ideas, I have bishop a3 ideas, and let's see where will black go. And what are we having? G5. So it was G5 and H3. I think at some point you need to play this. You need to go bishop F8 and bishop B4. Your bishop doesn't do anything on G7. Of course, you can start with King F7 also, but I think White is playing H3 to stop G4 and then knight D4 ideas. F7. Okay, dear friends, I think I need some very short break just to maybe drink some tea, some water, and also maybe to have very uh, little snack. Yes, just very short break, and we will continue. We will continue analyzing and seeing the games. I think so far Najo is going to win, maybe in a few minutes. Uh, and also we have Otsuka is also completely dominating, and but in other boards, board one, board three, yes, Bishop F8. We are having Bishop F8 by two. Uh, yes, this one also. Shinya Kojima's position doesn't look easy. And then we have, yes, this one, H5. So the point is being if rook G3, how do you stop? You play G6. Yes, you play G6. Not Bishop F8 or King F8, you go G6. And sacrifices aren't working because King will be very safe on D7. And first H5 with the idea is to go Rook G3. No need to rush with the white pieces. Of course, after Rook G3, there are ideas to go Bishop F8 or King F8. If you go King F8, then your Rook on H8 is completely stuck. I was thinking about Rook C8, preparing C5, but I'm not sure. Maybe even Bishop A5 is working because Knight F4. No, Knight F4 is unpleasant. Knight F4 can be unpleasant. Again, I'm not sure because Rook G3, I can take Knight H5. But let's say something like Rook H2. Yes, because I would generally like to play C6, but maybe C6, and then you are moving your queen to B6, let's say, and then preparing long castle ideas. But how am I going to defend my G7 pawn? Another that's why I wanted to play some Rook C8 and C5. But of course, that's very dangerous. Rook C8 and then preparing C5 ideas. E takes F. No, e takes F, but if I take, you will be taking. If I take, he wants to play some knight d4 at some point. Yes, I can go bishop takes f4 also. I don't see any problems with bishop takes f4. Yes, bishop takes f4, bishop takes b6, and queen e3 in this position. Short break, and then we will continue. Yes, I'm back. Yes, Nanjo is completely winning. Extra rook and no chances for Koji. Noguchi Koji. And here still Otsuka. Otsuka is taking his time. He's choosing between rook b7, bishop f4. And Kojima hasn't played his move yet. And we have a4, rook g3, king f8. This is interesting. How should white continue? My rook is on g3, but g7 is well protected. I don't have any bishop h6. Yes, nothing is really working. Can I improve some of my pieces? But I don't think. I don't think bishop d5 isn't working. You will take queen d5, and if queen c7, you have many, many moves. It is possible, but I don't like it much. Uh, what else can we do? Bishop b4 ideas aren't working. A bishop should be staying on d2, of course, to control this d2 h6 diagonal, and also d2 a5. Our knight on f3 doesn't do anything, but yes, even if we play knight g1, knight h3, knight f4, or knight g1, knight e2, or knight h2, knight g4. No, I don't like it much. Hmm. What should you do? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that white is that better, you know? Queen h5 and queen d2. So after rook e1, black went queen h5 and now queen d2. Of course, no need to trade the queens because queen h5, knight takes h5 most likely would come. And you don't have short castle. You don't have short castle because rook e7 is coming, and I'm having bishop a3. So with the knight, you don't have any good squares to go. With the queen, you don't have moves, any real moves. I think you very much need d6. You need d6 with the ideas maybe to go. Yes, but even bishop e6, rook b7 is coming. Because if not d6, I have bishop a3. I can go bishop a3 and I'm attacking your pawn and I'm forcing to play e6, but that's very bad. That's very sad. You can try queen c5 here, but again, rook b3, bishop a3 ideas are there. I can also try some queen f4 attacking the knight, but queen f4 short castle might be there. No, let's say d6, because if short castle, I think I would take the pawn, and you need to play some d5 already, but this is super bad, super bad, of course. You have queen f4 ideas. You have some other ideas also. And this is just lost. Bishop f1. This is just lost. And what's the evaluation? Again, short castle. You can take on e7, but you can also go bishop a3, threatening to take with the bishop, and d6 rook takes e7. Yes, and d6 was another idea to play. And bishop a3. Yes, bishop a3. You are threatening bishop d6, and if bishop b6, rook takes b7, short castle, rook e7. Oh, this is very bad, and here I think black already can resign, but they are still playing, and Otsuka He's thinking bishop b6. We have bishop b6 and the evaluation is more than +2. Knight b6, I'm not sure. Knight b6, I'm not sure. F takes c, rook b7, you need to take, because if you take knight c8, then I have bishop c8. And if knight a8, I have bishop a8. So this, rook b7. And yes, I can try some knight d4 ideas. But even if I go rook b8, knight c8, rook takes b7, bishop f3 is coming. Now let's see. Does computer like, yes, you can start with this, and then you go even rook e7, knight e7, knight b6, knight b6. This is also lost. This is also completely winning. And queen b4, we see that queen b4, white eventually went, and black went. Unfortunately, Shinya Kojima didn't like or didn't want to go for this knight e3 and then c5. Queen b4 computer doesn't like, knight c6 is not working. If I take rook c6, then you can again take my queen. I think I need to take, you need to take with the knight and moving my rook somewhere, like probably to c4. I can also go c3, but I think it's better to go c4. Yes, because f6 I always have knight g6, and I'm ready to go a3. Very unfortunately, this queen. Look, yes, I can take on rook c4, better position. I have even queen a6. This doesn't look great. And this one, this is so eventually bishop f8. We have knight e1, and why not bishop b4? Why not bishop b4? Why not bishop b4? Because if you try knight d3, I can take bishop c3, b takes c, and then knight takes c4. Yes, you can go f3, and now bishop takes d3 ideas aren't making much sense. I need to play some knight d4. I can also go knight d4 here, because if you go knight d3, then c2 is hanging, and if you take my knight on d4, then he takes d comes. So I would say the best. Uh, I don't like already white's position much. Still, engines are showing that white is safe. Bishop b4, f3 is coming, and if I try knight d4, again you can go f3. And now g4. What to move? g4, h takes g, not g4. Yes, it is possible. It is possible. Let's see. Tournament overview. Tournament name Japan Chess Championship 2026. The 27th Argentina Cup. Date Saturday, May 2nd, 2026. Wednesday, May 6th, 2026. Venue Shinagawa General. Yes, this is the address to 2 minutes walk from Oimachi Station. Format 9 round Swiss tournament, 90 minutes plus 30 seconds per move. FIDE and national standard rated. Entry criteria. Japan Chess Federation member and seeded player in the Japan Chess Championship 2025. Entry fee 22,000 yen. Registration, purchase tickets through Beatrix. organizer, contact, and this is the playing schedule. Following the prize giving ceremony, reception hosted by the Argentine ambassador will be held at the venue for the award winners. Registration. Awards will be given to the first through 10th place winners. The prizes will be awarded as follows. First, 100,000 yen Argentine cup and dulce de leche. Yes, I think dulce de leche means leche is milk and dulce is sweet. Yes, traditional Argentine sugar. Yes, and second place 50,000 yen, and then 40, 30, 20, and from 6th to 7th 10, and from 8 to yes 10 again 10,000 yen, but without any dulce de leche. First woman, first youth under 18, first senior. Chesscom. Chesscom also has some special prizes. Top 10 players other than title holders. First, 6-month diamond membership. Second, third, 3-month diamond membership. Fourth and fifth. Second, 2-month diamond membership. Yes, 3 months, 6 month. And if you finish 6th to 10th, then 1-month diamond membership. The winner will be awarded the title of Japan Chess Champion and will receive the Argentine Cup from the Embassy of Argentina in Japan. Top 5 finishers overall and the first placed finisher in the women's, youth and senior categories will be seeded for the Japan Chess Championship 2027. The winner will be eligible for selection as a member of the Japanese team for the Chess Olympiad 2028. Yes, I think this is enough. And yes, Nanjo won his game, and here bishop f4 we are having rook f8. Possible move, I think bishop e3 is very much possible. We can go on bishop e3, we can also take knight b6 and rook b7. Yes, the main question is which one is better, which one is simpler. I can go bishop e3 because knight e5, rook b7 comes. I don't know what are you going to play. Maybe bishop c8, but what if rook c7? I was very optimistic about... Yes, I go this, I'm threatening knight b6, I'm ready to take bishop b6, you go this. I can probably take on e7 and then go knight b6, but I have also this one. So knight is hanging, you need to play some knight e5, I guess, and then knight b6 comes. If you go knight b8 or knight d8, then again knight b6 comes. Yes, you can try some bishop d8, but of course rook c6, bishop d7, but shouldn't be working. No, I like bishop e3. I can also take. I'm sure that this is also a massively better position. You can try this knight e4 ideas. You can also play some rook d8 or rook f8. What does computer say? Yes, bishop e3. Rook b7, of course, also wins. But bishop e3 computer likes. And if you go rook b8 and knight b6 and bishop c8, rook c7. This is very much winning. And after queen b4, Matsuo CM is thinking, and here we have g4 and bishop g6. What a move! What a move that I didn't see. Wait, bishop g6, he is threatening bishop f7, king f7, queen g6, king f8, queen g7. And this is very beautiful. And if I go f takes g, you will take queen g6, and now you threaten queen g7. and I don't have many moves. Bishop g5 ideas, you will get checkmated, of course. And if I play rook g8, you can take queen e6, but you have, I think, killing move bishop h6, and game will end. Bishop f6 is the strongest continuation, but now it takes f, let's say, and yes, you have some problems, of course. You need to take with the queen, and here I can take queen f6. I can also play queen e4 because if I take queen f6, then you can take with the g pawn. And yeah, rook is coming to g6. Still, you have problems, but maybe it's not much. But I like queen e4, so knight is coming to e5, or even knight e5. Yes, I think knight e5 finishes the game, no? No, but I think you need to go some queen e8. You need to play queen e8. And now you are threatening this bishop you want to take. Bishop f7 doesn't really... So what is happening? Yes, queen e8. You need to play queen e8. You need to play queen e8 and bishop e4. F takes g doesn't work. Five. Something is happening there. It doesn't charge your phone. Take mine. Yes, bishop e8. Another decent move. Queen e4, you can already take on g6 and your king will be super safe on g8. I think I need to... but now I have bishop d3. I'm not big fan of this bishop e8 because I can go bishop d3 and then king f1, king g1. Once I'm getting my king on g1, the rook might come. Yes, bishop d3, of course. Very big inaccuracy. So position is unpleasant, but the best moves are... And it's not easy. Look, bishop d3. You are trading your bishop with my bishop on b5. And knight g1, knight g1, knight d2. But here, of course, I will play bishop d3. I will stop bishop b5, then king f1, king g1, rook is coming to e1, rook e4, rook g4. And what does your bishop do on e8? Bishop d3. I don't like much. I don't like. And here, black is taking their time. It's a very unpleasant situation. I think white is winning, so my expectations are Kohei Yamada to win. Nanjo already won his game. And yes, Otsuka, he will definitely win today. And this one doesn't seem easy because white has more than enough time to figure out what is happening, and white doesn't have any real problems. But as much as I know, too, he is a very uh, flexible chess player, always and resourceful. I would like to go lead chess and yes, very quickly, very briefly, we can discuss tournament in Sweden in Malmö. And, sorry for my pronunciation. I think in Russian it should be should be Malmö, but I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it in English. In Sweden, so we have Andy Woodward. He defeated Niels Grandelius with the white pieces. We have Zhu Jiner. She lost with the white pieces against Noderberg Abdusatorov. We have Magnus Carlsen. He drew against Arjun Erigasi. And we have Jordan Van Forest. He drew against Erdogmus Yagis Khan. I think the crucial moment was in this game, Woodward against Grandelius. Here, of course, white is better. You can always push h4 and then maybe e4, playing some king g3 or king e3. Maybe no need to rush with e4 because black is having ideas to go rook d8, rook d3. But I think Niels Grandelius blundered something here. He went rook d8 and he forgot that bishop b4 comes and then takes and then bishop f8. You are going to lose one of your pawns on g7 or h6, and slowly I will create enough uh, fast pawns to win the game. And of course, Andy Woodward won the game without any difficulties. And here, I think at some point it was. This is already slightly preferable because rook is coming to c8. I can always jump knight f5. I can go knight c6, and you haven't achieved anything with the white pieces. Yes, you didn't even manage to get your knight on d4, queen somewhere on d2, and pawn on c3, which would most likely anyway keep your position unpleasant. But here, knight d4, rook c8, and I'm not sure what was the point, why here Joiner collapsed, because engines are showing only minus 0.6, and after this, and then takes, yes, you are lost, queen b4, another classy move. You are losing on a4, you are trading the queens, and of course later on, Noderbeck, Aldo Sadorov, he won quite convincingly, and generally he started the tournament as always very confident. And Magnus, after a very long break, he didn't manage to put any real problems for Arjun. I think it was very easy and safe draw for Arjun with the black pieces. And yes, Jordan also didn't manage to put much pressure on Erdoğmuş. What can you play instead of knight d4? Uh, um, Matthew 5-8. B3 or rook b1 maybe to free the queen from protecting, or queen a3. Ah, very nice question. Very nice question. No, position anyway remains unpleasant because I can always play rook c8, knight c6, knight f5. I can do anything along c file. But what does? Oh, you need to play b3, of course. You need to play b3, rook c8. I go queen d2. Yes, you have knight f5, you have knight c6, stopping knight d4, and maybe with knight c6 you are also preparing some knight b4 ideas. But I'm not anything down. And yes. So, what other tournaments are we having? So here d6 and bishop a3 comes. Yes, bishop a3 comes. You go short castle rook e7, and if you go bishop b6, rook b7. Short castle rook e7 and bishop a6, rook takes b7. So Yamada Kohei, he has more than enough time to. And bishop e3. We are having bishop e3 by Otsuka and bishop e4. White is trying to repeat. But maybe if I go bishop d3, you have this rook c8. What does computer say? Oops. Let's say I go this and you play rook c8. It is possible. You need to play some king f1, c5, and king g1. And now c4 is coming, bishop c4, b5, and if you move the bishop, then b5 anyway. Well, and we have b6 here in this position, stopping some bishop c5, knight c5 ideas. Mm. No, I don't think black is having any real problems. And then we have some leagues. We have tournament in Sardinia starting very soon. What else? Campeonato de Andalusia. Open Dutch Rapid Championship. Anish isn't. Anish does not play. And then what else are we having? Well, Kazakhstan Cup 2 stage. This one. Yes, Kazakhstan Final Championship 2026. We are going to have some interesting games. First Division Chess League in Bangladesh. Let me just check it quickly. Oh, I think round 4 in 10 minutes. Yes, Montenegro League 2026 with many high-rated strong grandmasters. Ljubljana Chess Festival. Yes, Bishop C8, Rook C7, as already I uh, analyzed. Knight B6 is coming, your knight on C6 is under attack, so white is massively better, and white is completely winning. Yes, Bishop D8, I think I also analyzed this. I can take Bishop D7. Here I wanted to go B5, but you can take A takes B, and then A4 is hanging. So Bishop F3, maybe you will take Rook F3, but I have some others, like Rook B6, I can take Bishop B6, Knight B6, you take here. I go Rook takes C6. This should be completely winning, and yes, Knight B6, I can also go Knight B6, Bishop takes C7, Knight takes A8. No, I will take here, of course, you go Bishop D7, and what should I do? Maybe even B5, maybe even B5, Bishop C6, B takes C, and here I have this. You take B takes A, or you take with the Rook, then Rook D7 is following, if not Knight B6. I think something, yes, here you Rook takes, and now you have Knight B6, Bishop C6, Knight A8. You have also B5. B5 is, or Rook takes B6, Bishop A4, Rook E6. You can also play this B5, which I like very much. Not A5, of course, you need to take. And now Rook D6. So white is completely winning in this game, in this position. And here, instead of taking on B4 and playing Rook C4, which would have been super safe, for white, white goes queen a6. I think maybe we are going to have some move repetition, but probably not, because after queen b6, I'm not forced to go queen a4. I can take and take on c6. Yes, just 1 second. Still, some problems are there because knight c6 or rook c6 is coming. Knight a3 f takes c. Yes, if you go, because I'm ready to take knight c6, rook c6, and then rook takes c6. If you try some rook b8, but it doesn't help. Knight just takes, and if you take with the rook, I have queen c6. If you go knight a3, then I don't take with the rook. I play king a1, and I think this uh, should be very unpleasant because knight b4 is coming, queen b2 doesn't work, rook c6, queen c6. Yes, nothing is really working for black. Yes, we have c5. So black went c5, and what about d takes c? I can take d takes c, but I have also this knight d3. I have this very unpleasant move of knight d3 with the ideas to take on c5, but maybe you will go some queen b6. Yes, maybe you have this and you are forcing me to play. Yes, knight c5 isn't working, bishop c5, and white is losing. I need to take queen b6. I think you need to take. Yes, this is some small problems for black. D takes c, and you need to take knight e3, I guess. I need to take f takes c, because I need to take f takes c, and here you can take b takes c or bishop takes c5. Still, you have problems. Of course, you have problems, but it's not lost. It's not much. So knight d3 is interesting. I can also take d takes c. But d takes c, you will be most likely taking, I don't think you can take bishop c5. I don't think you can afford this. I can go so many. Knight d3, I'm thinking, what if I go knight d3? Yes, knight d3 should be enough, of course. Knight d3, and I think, but again, not 100% sure because bishop e3, I have queen c8 ideas, even knight e3, I can take knight b4. If you go queen e4, then knight c5, knight e3. No, knight c5 is also working because if queen e4, knight takes c5, and you don't have knight e3 because knight e4 comes, rook c5, bishop takes c5. Queen b6, you need to go, but knight c5. No, here c5, I'm not sure. So both moves are super promising, but I would take this. Let's say if I take, you need to take knight e3, I guess. Knight e3, f takes c, and here something. Because if you go bishop c5, I think this is very easy, knight d3 comes. Yes, knight d3 should be finishing the game because queen b6 I can take. And I think this is very unpleasant position. Still, queen a6, knight a6, rook c5 doesn't work because of some queen c8. I can also take queen b6, but something like this is possible. And now f takes c, you have rook c5, but rook c5, rook c5, queen a6. But what if you take? I take f takes c, and here again I don't like this much. You have rook c5. I'm not going to take queen c8, rook c5, rook c5. But still, a lot of problems are there for you. This I don't like. And b takes c we have. So both. No, actually knight d3. A3, queen b3, rook c4 was there, and knight d3 is the strongest. You need to play queen b8 or queen b6. Queen b6, a takes b, and I need to take. You will be taking on e3, f takes c, and here b takes c or bishop c5. White is better because your pawns aren't going anywhere from e6 to h6, and always I can push b4, a4, and trade some of the rooks or take on c5, uh, bishop on c5. Yeah, queen b8 maybe is better move, but d takes c comes, and now you need to play this, and some possible counterplay. You go bishop g5. Still, you have enough counterplay. So it was d takes c, and now d takes c. We are having inaccuracy because knight e3, f takes c, and now queen e4. Another great move. Knight is under attack. I'm also threatening rook c5, bishop c5 ideas, and if knight d3, I have queen e3. So d takes c. I forgot. Honestly speaking, I forgot about this knight e3 ideas. So And what are we having here? So it was this, and knight b6. Yes, knight b6. The strongest continuation. No questions. And takes, and now c5. This is completely winning, of course, for Otsuka. And after d6, Kohei is thinking. And what else are we having? Yes, he went bishop b2, but I will play some move. I have also rook f1. I can go rook c2, for example. You take, I go b5. And then slowly I push my pawns. I can even go c6 here. You take, I go c7. So this is completely winning. I think board 1 and board 5 are going to be very complicated. And here still, Yamada Kohei, he's thinking because he can go queen f4. I like queen f4. Bishop a3. He found the strongest continuation, bishop a3. And I'm ready to go bishop d6. Queen a5 ideas aren't working. Nothing is working. Bishop h3 doesn't work. Yes, you can try maybe some bishop f5, but I'm not forced even to take. I have rook b7 ideas, I'm sure, and then I can keep my bishop. I have also bishop e2, which can be unpleasant. Yes, if you have two ideas. You would like to have bishop on e6 and short castle to play, but if you go this, then rook e7 comes, and if you go bishop e6, then rook b7 comes. So this is massively better position. Black is uh, and here, what are we having? I think they are, the moment they are repeating the moves. At the moment they are repeating the moves. Bishop g6, bishop e8, bishop e4. Six people are following us, watching us. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And also, hello to my Twitch viewers. Yes, queen e4. Shinya Kojima, he went queen e4. I think Matsuo Tomohiko, he first uh, played queen a6. I'm sure that many of us would take queen before and then rook c4. At least you don't have any problems. You are better and much better. But queen a6, very principled move. But here you need to play knight d3. And this d-takes doesn't work because knight e3, queen e4, direct queen e4. I think you need to retreat your knight to d3. Otherwise, knight b4 is coming, queen e5 is hanging. Of course, in some of the positions. No. And here, Kan Nakahara, he went rook c8. Super logical. He is 2244 and his opponent is 1991. And he, of course, wants to continue, wants to play. And they repeat it few times, and eventually rook c8 with ideas to go c5. Now king f1 ideas are there. I think we checked this position with the bishop on d3. You can afford yourself king f1 and then c5 king g1. Of course, not much is going to happen. Yeah, rook b1, and now if you take rook b3, this game is over. This game is over. And now king h7 still, position remains complicated. Yes, this knight from c3 doesn't have any squares. This knight from d3 doesn't have any squares. This bishop on e3 as well. So h takes g, knight g4 is coming, and I don't mind general taking on e3. I should say that I like black's position. I think practically it should be better. But again, this crazy h takes g, knight takes g4, and then knight d1, important move, because this knight on c3 doesn't do anything. Knight e3, knight e3, later on maybe knight g4, maybe knight c4, maybe eventually c3 and king e2. Yes, I think this is important idea to see this h takes g and then play knight d1. Maybe some short castle, rook takes e7, and then trying bishop f5. Yes, but you can do. You have also bishop e2. Very unpleasant move, I'm sure. Something like this. You go queen h4, and I take on b7. You try knight e4. I play queen e3 or queen d4. Both are good. Queen d4. Black doesn't have much time, and position doesn't look great. Maybe you can try this, and if takes, short castle takes. Mm. But white is so much better. So we have bishop e6, yeah, rook b7 will follow. Yeah, rook b7, you will play short castle, rook takes e7, and maybe something there, like rook c8, rook fc8, or so 9 people are watching us. Thank you very much. Appreciate very much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. As this is Japan Chess Championship. So what other games and mhm. I also we can yes another championship. Let's see. So this one, Meshkovs, Cantons, Nations, Bernotas, Mieses. Wow, Germanovs, Vingris. I think this CM is very good, but yes, Mieses lost first game. What are we having? This is Jan is playing Param, Saric, Murali, and then Frederick, Svane Frederick. Alec Martirosyan is playing. Aditya, Mendonca, Uranik, Darda, Idani, Lodici, Fier, Smirin, Sokolovsky, Sonis, Zenk, Yilmaz, Oro. Wow. More than, yes, 180 participants. Yeah, super strong tournament. A, B, and C groups. Yes, it is going to be interesting. I think they are starting in a few days. Let's wish all the best to the players. And we have tournament in Ljubljana Chess Festival, and Jan Schubel is leading. He's half point ahead of Briley and Ilya Stanojevic, I apologize. Matej Shebenik, I think it's right to pronounce Shebenik. Laura, Nadia, they are playing. Okay, and of course I wanted to check this one, but we don't have any. How can we check the games? Uh, oh, it's hard to say. Maybe we need to go to this openchess.org. No, but not this one. Maybe openchess, maybe.com. Yes, this one should be. Uh, and yes, we have. Hmm. We downloaded all the games and we have many strong chess players, like Uskov against Yeletsky, and then Galaktionov lost against Inarkiev, and Mayer. I think they are still playing. I think they are still playing. The most likely game ended in a draw, but I would continue, of course. Some small chances are there. Alexander Tryapishko won, and then yes, Vladislav Artemiev won. Alexander Grishuk drew against Maxim Tsaruk and many other games. Alexander Morozevich won against Nikita Matinyan. So it was this. Yes, no need to pay any attention to this engine. D4, bishop g5. H6 is possible, of course, if bishop takes f6, queen f6, bishop c6, queen c6. Another move is to go d6, if I'm not mistaken. E takes d is also possible. I think here queen c1 you can go whenever you push e5, g5 is following. So this, and d6. I'm not sure about d6. No, probably d6 is the strongest. And now queen d3. Morozovich went queen d3. Of course, he didn't know much because uh, they started with 1 over 30 minutes and now he's having 1 over 3 minutes. And yes, you need to be very active with blacks on bishop g4. I don't know. G5, bishop g3, and now b5. You have knight h5, you have bishop g4, I guess. So this bishop b3. Oh, d5. Whoa. But yes, e takes d, knight before we wanted to play, but e takes d, knight takes d5, knight c3, knight e7. Wow. No, here you have this typical knight h5. You have also bishop g4, another typical move, but I don't like bishop g4 because I can always take bishop c6. Knight before ideas, I'm not sure because the worst scenario I can play some queen d2 ideas attacking. Now this, more or less, I understand that bishop c6 ideas aren't coming. But now you cannot play any knight h5 because bishop d5 is coming. Now bishop d5, knight b4 is there. But now I'm threatening e5, of course. And now d5, he definitely wanted to go this. And if e5, maybe knight e4, maybe knight h5. E takes d, and now he doesn't play knight b4. He doesn't play knight b4, which is surprising. Why? Why he doesn't play it? Maybe some queen d2. Maybe queen d2 is finishing the game. like this. You take and I go some knight g5. No, but this is, of course, you haven't achieved anything with black, and your position is completely. Yes, I know Nikita is a very strong grandmaster, and usually his openings are deeply analyzed, but this is like you have exposed king side and you haven't achieved anything. It's 97, just look at my rook e1, queen e2, knight g6, rook d1, very simple decisions. Maybe not the strongest, but interesting. Rook e1, rook d1, and eventually d5, g takes f, queen f3 comes, I guess. 90, yes, 97 maybe you can try, but d6 should be finishing. And now takes queen f5. Still game goes on. You can try queen f6, but I can take and bishop c7. And now takes h4. Queen e1 ideas aren't coming. I have knight e4. And this queen e4 takes queen f5. Yes, d6 is coming. h5 is coming. And then yes, a8 is hanging. Queen f6, queen g6, and h5, and bishop c2, bishop f5. In this position, Nikita Martinian resigned. Let's see if we are having any. Yes, bishop e6, rook b7, shortcuts rook e7 and rook d8. And after rook c8, white is still thinking. This is lost, and we have rook d8. Wow, here in this position, rook d8, I'm ready to go knight e3. So if I go queen c4, you will just take knight d3, f takes c, rook d3. If I play rook c4, you will take queen d3. How am I going to play? Bishop d2? Maybe bishop d2 should be my move, because otherwise you want to take knight d3. Rook c4 doesn't work. Rook d2 I don't like. Rook e2 makes no sense. Rook d1 as well. King a1 you will take knight e3. I think that's already very bad. No, bishop d2 maybe I need to play. I think bishop d2, right? Yes, bishop d2. So here what was the best? Oh, knight d3, rook d8. They are playing all the best moves. Oh, great. Great. And we have f3 eventually in this position. H4 first. And now g3. Wow. Because maybe if you don't play g3, but I think white doesn't threaten any g3 because g3 is a very standard move, nothing special. So g3 after g knight g4 comes, and then you can go h5. So now f3, bishop e7, and rook d1, knight h5. Yes, pawn on h4 is under attack. Of course, pawn on h4 doesn't mean much. Again, you don't have many moves with the knight from d3, with the bishop, with the knight on c3, but I think more or less the only problem is being this pawn on h4. If you go king e4 or this knight d4 ideas are there. And here queen c4. Queen c4, but what if c5? What if I go c5? Because uh, black doesn't mind playing c5, but no, I don't like queen c4. Of course, I don't like it. I want to play queen e2. Wait. Queen c4, c5. Of course, I played rook c8 for this. And king f1 or queen e2 you have. This is very deep, you know. Queen is coming to e2, and then you can move the knight and queen g4 maybe, potentially. Oh. Yes, this should be lost, 98, and what is happening here? I can take rook e6, but f takes c, another rook e6, f takes c. Nothing is really working. I'm not checkmating. Mm. I would like to play c5, d takes c, and c4, but that is too artificial. That is too artificial. No, this is very unpleasant. You have knight g7 ideas. Of course, this I understand. But if knight g7, I can take bishop d6, no? Team won against Vasily Korchmar. Nikita won against Artyom Karpenko. Roman drew against Drev. And a5. Rook d1 and a5. So, well, this is interesting. Because if I take knight a5, you will take knight e5. If I go bit xa, I don't like. Yes, if you go b5, then I have knight c5, but yes, I'm forcing you to take on c5. So knight c5, I want to go knight e6, you need to take at some point, of course. You can take rook d2, you can also go bishop c5. So I will take bishop c5. I think here maybe I have even this. But I can take bishop c5. Again, I have rook d7 ideas. Now a5 is very classy move, I understand. And if you take knight a5 with the ideas knight c4, then I have knight e5. Still, game goes on. I wouldn't say white is having something. Say 5. Yes, as you can see, bit xa and even knight a5, knight e5, rook d2 is possible. Even some bishop h2. And here we have rook e1. Wow, rook e1. Bishop d2 was the best, and here rook e1 and nothing else is working. It's like knight before is nothing. Knight f4. Maybe rook c6? What? Wait. Do I have this? But I'm not sure it's queen c4. What do you want? Takes. If queen c6, then knight c3 comes. But even that position is not very simple. Takes. He will take. Of course, you are better, but like honestly speaking, I'm not sure. I black is massively better, of course. But knight e3 wasn't. No, knight e3 is the strongest actually. Kojima is dominating. Queen g2, so your pawn on c5 means nothing. I have my unpleasant threats like queen f1, maybe queen h1, queen h5, bishop g5, and your pawn from c5 doesn't go anywhere. Your pawn from c5 doesn't go anywhere. So this is completely lost, but black is still trying. Bishop c1 and knight g7. Maybe bishop e3. Yes, bishop e3, bishop d4. I think I can go bishop e3. With the idea to get my bishop on d4, because if you try knight f5, I think I have g4. Bishop e3. Bishop is coming to d4. And what to do if you go knight f5, I have g4. Yes, you are losing some of your pieces. The queen h4 I can take, and then I can go f6 and queen h6. Okay, dear friends, let me have another short break, and then we will continue. Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm back. I'm back, dear friends. Hello, everyone. And we see that Otsuka won his game. His opponent Furuya resigned. And what do we see? Knight a5, knight e5, and then rook takes, rook takes, rook d8. Thank you. I'm fine. How about you? I've got your uh, messages regarding to tournaments in India, and of course, I'm very much interested, and I would play, but now I have some uh, family plans. Otherwise, with the pleasure, I would go. Rook d8, yes. If you take, I will take bishop d8 and then bishop h4. This cannot be uh, much for black, also much for white. I don't think white is having any problems because why should I can take rook d8, bishop d8, but I'm going to lose this pawn on h4, and then you will play some bishop f6 at some point. I'm doing good, bro. Hope to see you in India. With pleasure, you know. I have been in India in very first time. It was in uh, 2000, maybe 8 or 9, and then 2013, and then 2018, 19, 2022. So in different cities, I played chess Olympiad there as well. So I'm big fan of visiting once again India. But I've been living in Singapore last 15, 16 months, and now I'm back to my country, Armenia. And of course, when you are not many things to cover, to do, to check, to take care of, and that's why I'm busy. So rook d8, I fully understand, and it's maybe knight d7, knight c4 is coming. If I move my knight, then always knight c4 ideas are there. That is annoying. I need to take maybe, but takes. No, I think black is even better. I think black is even better. Of course, not much, but do I need to take, or do I need to play some 92? I have also 92. My idea is to go at some point knight d4 and maybe threaten this pawn on e6. Thank you for understanding. Hello. I don't speak much Japanese, but I know konnichiwa, arigato gozaimasu, watashi wa sam desu. It should be meaning, if I'm not wrong, watashi wa sam desu should be meaning my name is Sam. And yes, let's see. The only problem I see for two, he has very little time on clock, only 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and his opponent still has enough time, close to 15 minutes. Let me remind you that only 30 seconds increment, so time control is 90 minutes, 30 seconds increment, no any additional increment. So here we have rook c1, a3, queen h1, queen takes, and now queen f5. Yes, this should be very good. Queen h1, of course, the strongest, and now capturing the pawn, and now queen f5. So Kojima is finding all the best moves. He can start pushing his h pawn. He also threatens bishop g5, and he's pinning the knight on d3. I think he's having everything under control. And what are we having here? So after queen c4, it was queen d7. Oh, very deep, very deep. Stopping king f1, because king f1, queen b5 comes. So bishop takes d5, and now not e takes d. I'm not sure why not e takes d, because it looks more or less okay, but you can move the queen somewhere to d3, or maybe c2, or maybe even e2. So it was this, takes, and now bishop b4. If you take bishop b4, I will take a takes b. So here black goes rook g8. If you take on e7, I will take with the king. Still, some small problems I do see for black, but game goes on. Knight h5 here, so bishop c1, and here I would go bishop e3. No, computer doesn't like it. Some queen e5 is coming. Okay, queen f6, queen c5. Now you need to go g4. You need to go g4, and then you don't let any knight h5. Of course, g4 would have been great. And now knight h5. I think he forgot about knight h5, because otherwise bishop is coming to d4 and game over, but knight h5 comes. Still, white is winning. And whoa, here bishop h6. I completely missed this. Rook takes d2, bishop h4, but that cannot be worse for white. And if you take, the knight f7 comes, and you need to go somewhere with the king, then knight takes d8. That is, of course, better for white. So bishop h6, very beautiful tactical idea. And I think you need to play something like this, and then bishop takes h4. But you have problems, of course. You have some problems. Bishop h6, excellent move. So in this position, knight takes a5, knight e5, and no rook takes. Otherwise, rook is coming to d7, and no rook d8 again. And here you can some knight e2 ideas, b3, bishop h6. If you take rook d2, you need to play crazy knight c4. To play bishop h4, of course, knight c4 would have been better. You take knight c4, king h6, or you take rook d8 and then knight c4, king h6. I'm trading my knight with your bishop, and bishop d4. No, no, bishop d4 is g4, bishop d4. So rook c5, king a1 to unpin this knight, and now bishop f6, rook c5. You have rook d5, I guess. You can also play some queen g4. Yeah, rook d5 should be enough. Yes, rook d5 is enough, of course. And here, Taga Hiroto doesn't have much time, less than 3 minutes. So rook g8, of course, white is not worse, but I don't think black is having much problems. So knight h2 he goes. He could also go knight h4 ideas, I'm sure. But knight h4, you need to calculate all possible c5 ideas, right? No, knight h4 is good. I'm threatening knight f5, and if you go bishop d7, yes, takes king d2, f4. Yes, and c5 doesn't work because of rook takes c5, of course. You can take bishop c5 also, but rook c5, sacrificing an exchange. Knight h2, not the strongest. He wants to go this and maybe knight f6 at some point, or maybe some knight h6 tactical ideas. Yes, small inaccuracies, of course, possible. Not much time. And here, knight e2, rook d6. I think white is going to win. I won't be surprised if white wins this game, but I know that 2 is very strong in time scramble. So the point is being that black wants to play bishop f6. And I don't think you really threaten to take on h6 because I have knight f7, knight d6, and that position is most likely better for me. I was thinking about b3, rook d2, bishop takes d2. If you go king h6, then I have knight f7, but what if knight f6, then I have knight g4, yes, and my pawn on b2 isn't hanging. And I think, well, what about b4, if I try b4? Yes, if you try b4, then here capturing doesn't work, but I have this, no? I have this and something like bishop f6. b takes a, bishop takes c5. If you move the knight, yes, you can go this, and I need to play knight c4. Yes, this is working more or less for me, but again, white is having better chances. And we have bishop e3. What's the best? Bishop e3 is the best, just simple move. And I wasn't sure about bishop f6. How do I play? And so why bishop f6 ideas are not there? I want to move the knight away. You want to take rook d6 and then bishop b6, but bishop e5, bishop b2. Are we going to have and bishop f6? He goes bishop f6. Maybe the strongest continuation. Yeah, bishop f6, of course, the strongest continuation. But now I need to take. Oh, we are 10. Thank you very much, everyone, uh, for joining my stream. I appreciate very much. Bishop f6, because what to do? Knight g4, bishop b2 ideas are there. Knight d3, knight c4 is coming. So you need to take, and here you can choose between playing knight d3 or bishop takes b6. But here I don't like bishop b6 much. I think just bishop takes and then bishop takes b2. And I just don't want to give any passed pawn. And bishop f6. You can take, but this also I'm not sure that I'm better. Knight c4 is coming. Bishop c1 I need to play. I have also bishop d4. No, this knight doesn't do much. This knight doesn't do much. Yes, you need to take. You need to take this. And here you can choose between knight d3, but computer likes more. Bishop takes b6. You need to take. Bishop takes. You need to take. Yes, and here c3. And we have knight e5, which does look very dangerous. Rook d1, I can go and then queen d4. No, this should be lost, no? Bishop e5 or queen d1, queen d6, queen g1, queen f2. I was thinking about rook d1, but this doesn't really work. I wanted to go this. Yes, it is good, but queen a5 or queen b5. Oh, and white is completely winning, but so it was queen a8, queen takes a8. So you can go also g4, but why didn't he play g4? G4 looks so natural. You go g4, and then knight g7, and then you play queen f6, and then bishop is coming to h6 or bishop d4, and you checkmate. So bishop h6 is also good. Maybe his idea was if rook e8, then I can take and g4. Yes, that was this. And now again, you can play bishop e4, but he decided to go this, and then bishop f8, and then rook c7, of course. Rook b8, if I try, you will go some rook c6, right? You will go rook c6, of course. Of course, bishop f6, and white is still. Thank you very much for following my Twitch and for subscribing on my YouTube channel. Appreciate very much. Yes, rook takes d6, he takes d. And now what are we going to have? What are we going to have? Bishop takes b6 over knight d3. Final moment, bishop b6, bishop e5, bishop takes a5, bishop takes b2. And yes, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that bishop e1 ideas. And you need to play c3. Maybe you threaten even bishop b4 or slowly bring the king. But I have bishop a3. So I don't think like is lost. And we have queen g1 and queen takes f2. So black managed to take on g2, take on h5. So they played queen h1, queen h5, and then uh, queen g1, queen takes f2. Black is, of course, massively better. Black is winning. Pawn on c6 doesn't go anywhere. And yes, I can start pushing my pawns. I can maybe trade some of the pieces. I can also attack pawn on b2. So Kojima will be winning. And yes, this one is completely lost. Kohei Yamada is dominating. Rook d1. Yes, this pawn is hanging. You don't have d5. You don't have anything. You can go rook d8, but I can start attacking this pawn. Even if you get your rook on b2, it doesn't mean much. Yes, black is Okabe, Yuma Okabe. Yes, opening didn't go well for. And here he goes d5. Maybe I can go g3. I take h3, bishop h3, and then c takes d. I can also go c5. Great move. c5, c6 is coming. I can also take c takes d. Yes, but I like c5 more. I like c5 more. I like c5 more. And we have close to. No, this is unpleasant. Of course, this cannot be. You need to take. You need to play king e7, and then f4, f5 ideas are not working because maybe king e6, king f5. No, but yes, rook a8 threatening this bishop b4 and a3 ideas. I'm sure. I'm sure he wants to go bishop b4 and then a3. Should I take or should I do something else? Maybe takes and then. No, computer says just keep the bishops. Of course, bishop d2 and then f4, f5. And here we have king e1. King is coming to d2 and then d3 and then we will see. So here rook e2. And do we have any tactical ideas? No, I like queen d4. Maybe even I'm blundering something, but I like queen d4. Queen b6 or queen d4? Queen b6 is even stronger because if you go queen d4, then knight d7 comes. No, queen b6, you need to play queen b6. And no doubts. And here after rook g3, we are having king e8. So it was rook a8, rook g3, stopping bishop b4, it takes b8-3, and now king e8, bishop e7, and then f4, right? f4 you need to go, but king e6. No, this soon rook is coming to b5. Bishop d2 would have been stronger with the idea to go f1 and then f5. King is coming to d3. b4. Whoa, this I don't like. Yes, I need to take. I need to take. You will take. And but why? Why do you go this? Why do you go b4 in this position? Yes, still possible. A takes b, rook takes b3, and I can go rook a7. I can also go rook b8. But he wants to play f4, g4, maybe f5. I wouldn't go b4. But it makes some sense. And here we have king g6, c3, bishop a3, king d2. Mm, Some problems are there, no doubt. Some problems are there. Yes. Yamada won. G3, you need to take knight h3 and bishop takes h3, bishop h3, c takes d, and then c4. White is, of course, completely winning. And we have three other games. And c1, attacking the pawn. If you go rook a8, then I will take rook c6. You need to play some king e d7, maybe rook a6. Uh, d7 black is playing. Here king c4, I'm not sure what's the idea. He wants to play bishop b4 maybe. He wants to play bishop b4, takes, king b4, and then king a5. So the main problem for black that how are you going to activate your knight from h5? Because if you move the knight, then you are losing this very important pawn on g3. Knight f4 ideas aren't working, aren't coming. Yes, bishop a7 he is playing, but what if bishop b4 I go? What if I go bishop b4? He wants to play some king e7, I guess. If I go this, you will be playing some king e7, most likely, or even bishop b8. You have bishop b8. My idea was maybe to try e5, but e5 bishop b8 anyway doesn't really win the game. Yes, should be unpleasant. Should be unpleasant. No, not much. Bishop d8, but you always can go bishop f2. So from here it was king e1, and now this king d2, c3, bishop a3, king d2, bishop c5, king d3, king f7, king c4. Again, maybe bishop b4 would have been better, but take c5. 2 is defending so well, and now king d6. I don't like rook f3, rook f8. And here he went e6, f takes c, rook f8, and if king e6, rook c6, but now king d6. And this is unpleasant. So more or less we can understand before rook takes b3. And now no need to go rook b1. You can also start pushing f4. And now b5, very important. And now king d7. And now rook f8. So Kan Nakahara is very flexible chess player, very solid. And e6, king d6. This is unpleasant. This is already very unpleasant. You need to take on f7. The best computer says is this. Let's say takes. You can go f3, you can go king e3. Feels like rook a7, but rook c3 comes. I think practically unpleasant, but and black won. Here, after queen b6, white resigned. I think white played quite well, and here I don't like this queen a6. I mean, queen a6 itself is not a weak inaccuracy or blunder, even the most principled move. But sometimes we need to be very flexible in our decisions. You just take queen before, knight takes before, you go rook c4, and here, of course, you are not going to lose your f2, g2, and h5 pawns, and you have some pressure on c6, and you are better. Of course, the main mistake came here, d takes c. You need to play knight d3, and after knight d3, you are not worse at all. Now, with the white pieces, you are even having some pressure. But yes, later on, starting after d takes c, Kojima, he found all the best moves and he won the game. And now we have rook c3 attacking this pawn. It's not much I can defend by placing the rook on c7, by placing the rook on a6. And yes, we have bishop b4 and then king d3, maybe c4. You can try c4 and then bishop e1. Yes, he wants to go c4 and bishop e1. My a5 ideas are not much because I can always go bishop e1. Yes, the main problem for black in this game, time management. I think black is bishop e1 is coming, and how are you going to defend your pawn on g3? Because d5 I can take twice. If you push a5, bishop e1 comes anyway. Of course, you have some chances. You have some chances. a5, bishop e1, maybe a4 you can try. Maybe you need to go this and then bishop e1, a4. But okay, I'm not going to play king c3. I can always play king c2 if I want. Even after a3, I can go king c2. So problems are there. Problems are there. I'm about to go bishop e1 and get your pawn. Get your pawn on g3. And he played a5. Yes, bishop e1 I will go. Yes, Kota Nagataki. He's a very decent chess player. Yes, bishop e1 he goes. And yes. Oh, we are 11. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, konnichiwa. Ogenki Nadeska, if I'm not mistaken. Ogenki Deska should be meaning how are you? Nishiva Ogenki. This should be meaning how are you? If anyone in our chat knows Japanese, please let me know. Yes, bishop a4, but this is nothing because even if you push, then we have king c2. Yes, king c2. Well, we are 12. We are 12, which is insane. Yes, problems are there. And he goes d5. Of course, I fully understand d5, but this is very logical, you know? Pushing the pawn and forcing opponent to go king c5 and now d5. You need to take twice, I guess. You need to take twice. But if you take twice, then knight is coming to f6, and I think I have very good chances to make a draw. Let's say c takes d, you go, or e takes d, you go, e takes d, you take c takes d. And for example, I play something like knight f6. Yes, if you want to take on g3, you are very much welcome. You can take with the knight, with the bishop. If you try to defend this, then I think this is not very serious. I have bishop a5 ideas, at least I have bishop e5 also. Bishop e5 is even better. Yes, I can also maybe try this. No, bishop e5 should be enough. d5, I think they captured, and you need to take because c5 you have, but c5, yeah, c5 is very deep. c5 is very deep. And let's see the other game, and still game goes on, and black is trying. Of course, black is better already. Black is better. Rook is coming to c4, and then I can start freeing the other rook. I will get my rook on c4 and then start freeing the other rook. And knight f6. Yes, very good defense by Toronto. Yes, very classy. Pushing a4. And I won't be surprised if, yes, a5 is the strongest, and then a4 is the strongest. If I take knight f4 comes, if bishop takes, then you can always take, and then d5 ideas might be there, right? Takes a3, and then d5, and king c2, and now you go d5. Exactly, you go d5, and then takes, knight f6. Yes, this should be end in a draw. In this or in that way, you can take on g3. I will take and then take on d5. Yes, because of my pawn on a4, you need to keep your king closer to my a4 pawn, but I will, of course, slowly start attacking your pawns and maybe taking some. Yes, rook c4. This is super annoying position. Let's go to chess results. Maybe we are having some of the results. And what are we having? We have 2130, Kobayashi, he won uh, at Suhigo. Then we have Noda drew against Higashino. 1756 drew against 2117. And then we have Kihara Taira won 1887 against 1804. Togawa Kentaro won against 1553. And then Gishi Kato Ami lost her game, if I'm not mistaken. Female chess player. And then we have draw. What about Alex? Alex is playing against Tosei Yamaguchi. Tosei Yamaguchi. Oh, this is lost. This, though king is coming to f5. You need to go king f5 at some point. King f4 is not just king d5. King f5 you need to try. No, this is lost, of course. This is lost. I have king d5. I have also rook e3, but rook e3, maybe I'm giving some chances to you. King f5, of course, white goes. Hiroto Taga in time's trouble. Unfortunately, something went wrong for him. I think maybe this rashness of e6, going e6. He rushed. King d5. No, white is losing. Unfortunately, white is losing. King d4 is coming. Your king g6 ideas are very slow. I can take king d4 and then start pushing c3. Maybe even c5 and b4. No. Taga Hiroto is losing. But he played very good chess and knight f1. White is still trying, White is still trying. But I think no, you can just bring your king. You can just bring your king. I think anyway, this yes, king f6, you are bringing your king closer. Yes, with white pieces, you need to play this king b2. Yes, king b2, I will play some. Yes, king b2, he goes. And what's the right way to play? Maybe I can start already knight f4. Maybe I can already go knight f4, you know. Once I'm attacking your pawns, no, you need to bring your king closer, like king h4 maybe. Even no, king h4 makes not much sense. You can try maybe some. No, but another problem is king a3 you want to go, but I have knight b6. Yes, that one is also working. Like I can play king f5, you go king a3, knight b6. So the moment I don't give my pawn on a4, and later on I will sacrifice. King e5, of course. King e5 is also good. And here king g6, but it's still trying. You know, f4 g5, maybe f4 f5. I like f4 f5 more. Yes, king d4 f4, but I have c5 before. I have c3. C3 is also good because your f6 idea, f5 ideas are nothing. I will just push c5, c4, c3, and then c5 is coming also. No, but he played throughout the game. He made so many important and good decisions, but of course, uh, yes, at some point he decided. Wait, wait, wait. Hello. Are you aware your Twitch chat has been on emote only mode for a very long time? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honestly speaking, I just clicked to disable that everyone could reach out to me to text me, but I think I clicked maybe twice, or I just yes, it was my fault, my mistake. Whoa, 12 people are watching. Please, from where are you following my stream? It's my pleasure. So c3, and now you need to go f5 because g5 is nothing. I can take h takes g, f takes g, and then continue c5 and b4. c5 king is coming to c4, and then I push b4. Yes, c3. If you go f5, then again c5, I can continue. f6, g takes f. You take king f6, and I go some rook e4 ideas, I guess. Yes. Hello, I'm a chess player from Japan. Thank you very much for the stream. Wow, great, amazing. Thank you very much for joining my stream, and it's my pleasure to see some of the games and discuss Japan Chess Championship, h takes g, f takes g, and now I would go c5. I would go c5 and b4. c5, and whenever you check king is coming to c4, h6, I don't care, g takes, and then b4. So I'm ready to sacrifice my rook and trade the rook with the h pawn, but of course my pawns on c and b files are finishing the game because they are just coming to king d3. Black went for the other idea. Black wants to promote this pawn to queen. If you push h6, again takes. I think you need to push at some point. And g3, knight e2, yes. And you take king a4, I guess. I go knight g3, you take knight g3, I go king a4, and game ends in a draw. This should be the most, because f4, knight f4, you don't have moves with the knight, and this I can play king f4. No, good defense, and g4 he goes, of course. White is still trying, you can go king f4, and I think many other moves are also there. Many other moves are also there. Game will end in a draw. Very good defense by Taranto. and very good level of understanding by Kota Nagataki. Yes, king f4, you need to defend somehow from d2 or uh, h2, and then I'm just playing knight d4, knight f3, or knight g1, knight f3. Yes, I just go knight d4 and knight takes f3. Even king e3. King e3 is also working. Yes. Yes, yes, exactly. So this game will be ending in a draw, and this one is lost, of course. c2 and h7 I just take. Let's say h7 I take, you take, I go king d2, rook takes c2, king c2, king is coming to b3. You go any other square with the rook, then c1 comes. Yes, c2 and g5, knight f4. Of course, if you take, then g6, I think you cannot stop this pawn on g6. Um, and knight f4, I think very soon players will agree in a draw. Not much to play. So we have, and this is lost, of course. This is lost. Not much to analyze. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. This one will end in a draw. This one leg is winning, and white will resign very soon. Please like and subscribe. Yes, if you haven't liked yet or haven't subscribed yet, please. And yes, we have Nakahara, he won, and we have Taranto, he drew the game. And let's see, maybe we have already, no, not all the results are there, not all of them. I think we had a very interesting round with a lot of instructive material, moments that we discussed together and analyzed. Wow, 16 people are watching. So what would you like? What would you like to do, dear viewers? Would you like me to play some online chess, or would you like anything else? Yes, it's really my pleasure that so many people are. Yes, 14. Are you there, coach? No, actually, not officially, but I have been in Japan, and I had uh, interview for the position of head coach of men's team, but still I'm waiting for the official confirmation. So we had our interview for that position, but as already I told, they did not confirm yet. So I'm still waiting, and yes, it was interesting for me just to see. And who knows, maybe getting the position, and this information can be important. Some rapid chess would be nice. If not, blitz would be fine too. Okay, let's play some blitz maybe. Let's go to chess.com. Let's go to chess.com, and well, we have some friend. requests. Let's go to play online. Let's see who is playing at the moment. Let's see who is playing at the moment. Hikaru is there. Many other chess players. Sina is there, but Sina isn't going to play. Yes, Tari is there. Let's. Okay, I'm playing Mishuk. 2956. So let's go knight f3. Okay, 4. And here, let's go c3, e5. Wait, the idea is to go d4. Will he play d4? Knight c6. I think I need to go bishop b5. International master. I need to take this. Okay, I have h3 ideas maybe, but let's go d4. Bishop g4, I can always play knight bd2. And then h3, bishop take. Yes, c takes d, c takes d, I need to take. Bishop g4, I need to play some knight d2, and if he takes, I will take with the knight, I will take with the knight. e6, I need to castle short side, I guess. But this can be super unpleasant for him. Queen is coming to a4, bishop is coming to g5, rook is coming to fc1. And he goes c5, which is super interesting. Queen f4, queen d7. Queen a4, queen d7. Should I go bishop g5? Maybe bishop g5, he will play queen d7. Okay, let's go bishop g5. Let's play some rook c1. Maybe some bishop f6 also. Maybe bishop f6. Because now I have also 95 ideas. He doesn't have bishop d6, I will take. I mean, he can, of course, but I will take the pawn. Maybe that's the best. Maybe that's the best. So queen d8 ideas aren't working. I have always this queen a4. He can go c4, but I have knight e5. And he does let me to go knight e5, and he wants to play. Okay, knight e5. He will play some queen b5. Let's go some maybe rook c3, but bishop d6 he wants to play. Maybe rook b3, queen a4, rook b8 ideas are there or not? Yes, rook b8 ideas are there. Queen a5 if he goes. We will play some. Okay, we have also queen g4, bishop d6, knight g, maybe queen e2, maybe rook c3, bishop d6, rook b3, queen a5. And then how do I checkmate? I need to be very fast. Queen g4, knight g6, rook g8. To take c, a4 I can try. Okay, let's go a4 maybe. Before c4 he will push. What if I take d takes c? Rook c5. He goes rook c5. And what? Maybe queen d3 we can try. Just queen d2 maybe. Bishop d6 b4? This is 4. Okay, knight d3. He takes, I take. Takes, x1. Yes, takes, and this 95 is coming, isn't coming. Let's say this. So winning, so winning, so winning. It was so winning position for me. Just look at this. Bishop g4, takes d4. To take c, bishop g5, and now takes. Yes, he forgot about this, and now 95. 93 takes this, queen f4. Queen c3 is even better. Queen here. Rook takes f7. Completely winning, but 97 takes rook e8, rook f8. Yes, this was completely winning. I was rushing and I. So in 50 moves, if in 50 minutes there is Baku open, if you will still be streaming. Was a six mistake. No, I think my opponent didn't complete his development. This line is possible because we got knight f3 c5 e4 g6, but you can also play e4 c5 knight f3 g6. I think knight c6 already maybe small inaccuracy, but after bishop b5 you shouldn't go a6. You need to play some bishop g4. No need to go a6. Anyway, I'm taking. Even if I'm not mistaken after bishop g4, maybe taking on c6 is the best. So why do you provoke? Why do you force? And it was winning, a completely winning position, but I didn't have I had time, but I was trying to play faster, and of course, I gave a lot of chances. Yes, let's see how long are we streaming already. Wow, hello, hello, here. So 11. Thank you very much. And tomorrow, please, first of all, thank you very much for staying with me and following my Twitch and YouTube channels. I appreciate very much. Second thing I would like to mention and say tomorrow as well, I will be streaming Japan Chess Championship third and fourth rounds and games. Uh, and yes, already close to 4 hours with some short breaks. Maybe we had overall 10-15 minutes of break. So I'm analyzing Japan